Oh, but it's time. It is time. I know you've been waiting, but finally, it is time. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world. It's time to get your weight up. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. Glad to be back with you all here again this evening. Let me adjust my levels here because we are doing the most. But we are the best, so we're doing the most at it. All right, pull up a chair. It's time to get down to the business. And I am your host. And I'm going to be doing what hosting duties need to be done. And on tonight's program, few things in particular I want to deal with. So we're going to get off into that. Turn you down some more. All right. Working on setting up the right program here for you tonight because there's some things I want to discuss with you all here. Glad to have you all with us this evening. Thank you very much. Well, hey, at least you don't have to adjust the volume on your side over there, so be glad. Some of these folks have their volume so low you can't even hear them, so in my case, at least you don't have to worry about that. All right, I get asked, I've been running into this a lot lately, and what's been going on here is I get asked about, there are females out there who are like, they want to find the right guy. They are looking for a producer. They are looking for a peak value man. They are looking for that fella, but right now, they're in short supply. And the reason for that is because the fellas who are on top of their game, the men who actually have their stuff together, I mean, those fellas, they've already got it. They have already got it. They're all taken. They're all spoken for. They're all accounted for. They're already with somebody. Or they got access. So the women are now starting to become introspective and starting to say, well, how can I identify a prospect? That's what we really need to work on. How can I spot a prospect? I need to treat like the stock market. I can't afford, that Amazon stock. It's already a winner. Can't afford that Berkshire Hathaway. Let me see. Can I get one of these penny stocks? Can I get one of these growth stocks? One that the price is not so high about that. Let me see if I can get something a little bit more on my level right here. And if I can catch it on the way up. But if you're going to do that like the stock market, then you have to be able to identify a growth stock. You have to see that all the pieces are in place. Now, they haven't won a championship yet, but you got to be able to identify when all of the elements that make a winner are in place. That's what you got to be able to do. Unfortunately, because most females today were not raised by women who could actually get a producer, most of them have absolutely no idea what the hallmarks of a man who is a winner when he's got the raw ingredients. See, everybody can identify the wedding cake. Everyone can identify the birthday cake. But are you a woman who can identify when the guy you're talking to in middle school, high school, college, can you take a look at his character, his daily habits, his routine, and see that the raw ingredients are in place? The flour, the sugar, the baking powder, the vanilla, the cinnamon, if you like that. Can you identify the ingredients that create a producer? Or are you a woman who judges based on, quote, potential? And as I've taught you all before, that is the most dangerous word in the world for a female, because females do not logically analyze potential. Their idea of potential is based upon how they feel, not upon concrete metrics. So we're going to get into that tonight. We are going to get into that tonight here. So let's go over the rules. Well, number one, Ladies, if you want to know the difference between potential and performance, if you want to know how to spot and identify a man who will become a producer, first thing you want to know about is that success is the result of a set of habits. What I'm telling you is that so many of you are looking for the guy who's got the car, that got the house, that's got the credit score. But you have to understand, that's the result of habits he's always had. He had these core character habits when he was in elementary school. If he was dedicated to reading in elementary school, he's dedicated to learning. He shows up for class on time. And he's a guy who judges himself. He is a guy who analyzes his behavior. Well, men who analyze their behavior start off as children who analyze their behavior. Men who think they can get by on looks alone were kids who thought they could get by on looks alone. Men who rely on swag to get through life started as children who relied on swag to get through life. A grown man who lacks leadership principles, characteristics, began as a kid who lacked leadership characteristics. You're just paying the penalty when he's a man. When he was in high school, he wasn't leading nothing. A man who is a winner, a man who is a producer, is leading at something. There's something that he's leading at. There is something that he's so good at that he galvanizes people. Those are character traits that you recognize in children. So where you run into trouble is when you start going off your feelings. Well, he cute. Cuteness is not an accomplishment. Cuteness is not performance. You're going off of some primal urge. Primal urges don't pay the damn rent. And if the rent ain't getting paid, just understand your primal urges are gonna suffer when you realize you're with somebody who life isn't getting better. It's getting worse. It's getting harder. That's when you start realizing all kinds of things. When females typically judge on potential, first thing they take a look at is, okay, what does he bring to the table now? And the first thing they go to is, well, how does he make me feel? As opposed to, what does he accomplish? What does he sacrifice? And because so many of these females today are single mothers, they've never actually been forced or forced themselves to make a priority of the value of the man that they're with. So understand that success is the result of a set of habits. But those habits, see, what happens is females will go off their feelings. Well, I want to make sure that I've got my primal urges satisfied. See, that's how low down the world has become today. That's how degenerate it's become today. That females are less focused on survival than they are on superficial gratification. Well, let me make sure he's cute and got swag. That's superficial gratification talking. That's not survival. You're supposed to be looking at a man and judging, when my ass is in a crack, is he the person I would think, even if I weren't with him romantically, is he the person I would go to first? Now, that's how you know you have a winner. That's how you know you have a leader. When you sit up and say, if I was in trouble, is this the guy I would think to call on? If I'm in physical trouble, financial trouble, intellectual trouble, spiritual trouble, is this the guy I would call? Well, those are a set of traits that begin to manifest themselves and solidify themselves early. But folks have told their daughters that you can go out here and use your sexual organs as an amusement park ride, and that all a guy has to do is stimulate you physically or sexually or emotionally, and that's it. Everything else will be okay from there. And then when it's time for the rent to be paid, you expect him to quote unquote man up. Okay, but you did not choose him for those reasons. So you can't just sit up here and do a 180 in the middle of the street and say, oh, I need everybody to act like adults now. If you don't prioritize valuing a guy who is focused, valuing a guy who is dedicated, valuing a guy who can dedicate himself to something and excel. If he can excel at the reading test, if he can excel at the spelling bee, if he can excel at those things at the grade school level, middle school level, high school level, college level, those are the results of core habits and traits. And he will carry those traits. Those are character traits. You all need to start looking for character traits. What happens though is that you're looking for potential character traits as opposed to performed character traits. But he's supposed to already show you that he possesses the set of habits. And swag and cuteness ain't got nothing to do with it. Swag and cuteness have nothing to do with his core characteristics. The reason why you don't make fun of the kid in class who is the best at reading or the best at math is because he's demonstrating the core character traits that when he goes into the world, he can dedicate himself to learning. If he can learn those skills in grade school, then when he goes into the world, he will be much better and far easier at acquiring those skills at an employer or in class or going into business for himself. And you all want to sit up here and wait until you're in trouble and then start prioritizing character traits. See, you don't want to value that and you don't want to make it important until after you've had your fun with the clown boys out here. And then all of a sudden, oh man, I need me somebody with some character traits. I need me a fellow with some character traits now. Me do that now. As if, because as a female, you've been taught that you can screw around and play around and mess up, and that your sex organ is a magic wand that will transform a man into whatever you want him to be. See, the problem is what you all mess up is that you think that because males will go to work to have sex with you, then he will also continue going to work to please you. And that's not the way it goes. Males will put in effort to get sex, but don't think that that's a limitless well that you can go back to whenever you want to. And whenever you want him to do more work, you just go back to the well. If he wasn't already doing these things when you met him, don't expect him to start. If he's not already driven, if he's not already relentless, if he's not already focused, don't expect that to change. And this is the problem we run into today. Females want to judge a guy on superficial things. Well, is he cute? Do he have swag? Do one of my girlfriends want him? And I got that locked down. Well, good. And I will teach later. I will snap my fingers and stomp my foot and demand that he become a producer in these other levels. But I just want to make sure that, we got that taken care of first, though. I just want to make sure that's straight first. Y'all got ass backward. You're supposed to find a fella who's got competence skills. You're supposed to find a fella who exudes excellence And then you can teach him how to get swag and do his hair and whatnot. You get a fellow who can excel. Get a fellow who can produce. Then you worry about swag and sex and prestige and all that mess. Get the fellow who's got the core skill sets. Well, Jason, you're talking about those core characteristics, but what are they? Very glad you asked. Next thing to take a look for is understanding that the relentless man will always succeed. You're supposed to be looking for that young kid who doesn't say can't. You're supposed to be looking for that young kid who doesn't give up. You're supposed to be looking for that young kid who keeps pounding at it. The one who shows up early in the morning because he's not good at it, but he's driving himself to be good at it. And then you're supposed to look for him. Does he do it every day? Is he consistent? Is he reliable? And is he relentless? Because understand, relentless children become relentless adults. Show me a man who is a relentless man, and I will show you a man who was a relentless teenager. When he put his mind to something, when he made something his goal, he sank his teeth into it and would not let it go. And too many females have been told that that's a negative thing. Yeah, because you can't boss him around. A man's not here for you to boss him around. He's supposed to have his own direction, his own plan, his own strategy, and then his own desire to get it done. You are supposed to be the co-pilot. You're not supposed to be setting out what he's supposed to be doing. He's already got the game plan. But first of all, when we talk about these core characteristics, is he relentless? Is he driven? Is he ambitious? Because if he's relentless about making A's, if he's relentless about excelling, if he is relentless about being the best when he's in the 7th grade or the 9th grade, he will be relentless when he's 25 or 30. If he sets his mind to something, if in school, he learned how to research, he learned how to look into it, he learned how to study, he learned how to be better, he learned how to persevere, he learned how to overcome people ridiculing him. Why you got to do all that nerdy stuff, all that geeky stuff? He developed character traits that will sustain him in the real world where there are no rules. And he will remain relentless. So when he tells you, I'm going to make $1 million, he's going to just stay at that. Now here's where females get screwed up at. See, you tell yourself, well, in school, that was just one semester. Baby. No, he was a work. The man you see there, that was built over the course of 12, 15, 16, 18 years. He was developing relentlessness over the course of a decade or two. You are just counting one semester because you're counting a grade or report card. No. This is his life. His life, he was in school at the time in that life, but this is the life he's led. This is years that he is dedicated and invested in this. It's years that built him into what he is. So you got to look over the course of years. So when he takes a look at his income, if he tells you, you know what? An average life ain't for me. Look for the male who tells you, not I have a dream car. Look for the male who tells you, one day I'm going to own a Lamborghini. One day I'm going to own a Ferrari. Oh yeah, I'm driving, this Chevy Caprice right now with 300,000 miles on it. But this is just till I get there. But rest assured, I'm getting there. And then you check his paperwork. Mic drop. When a man tells you what he's going to do, you say, okay. And just like the children in school, when you talk to a child in school, if they told you they were going to do something, what would you do? You sit back, okay, let's see. And then you wait for them. Whether it's gymnastics class, football, math, science, whatever. If they told you I'm going to have the best science project, okay, we'll see. Teacher, I'm going to have the best science project. Okay, we'll see. We'll see. And then you sit back and wait. And then you check his paperwork. If a man tells you that he is on his path to $1 million, then you should be able to see where he's made it from $25,000 a year to $50,000 a year. His capacity and his ability to transform $1 into $2, that is back to rule number 1. That is a core competence characteristic. It is the result of a set of habits. And if he's developed a habit of transforming what is in his hands into more, then couple that with being relentless. Well, do you understand what you just said? He is relentless about doubling his prosperity. He's relentless. So the set of habits, the goals, and then the fuel into it is being relentless. He didn't require you. It wasn't your sexual attentions that put that in him. The drive and the motivation and the relentlessness to perform, that's in him already. And he is focusing that energy towards empowering himself. Now, that's what you want to look for. But all of you understand, well, hell, you can identify those traits in a 5-year-old. You can identify those traits in a 10-year-old. And you can certainly identify those traits in a 15-year-old. You can identify those traits way before he becomes an adult. That's what I want you to understand. You can identify those traits in a man way before he becomes an adult. If you're only checking to measure for those traits after he's become an adult, then you're already too damn late. The train has already left the station. The rot is already in the wood. Black Voltron's correct there. The get rich and die trying mentality, that's going to be in him by the time he gets to high school. He's going to already be showing you that that's a part of his character. That's a part of his demeanor. That's a part of who he is. You're going to see that before it ever gets there. Now, if you are a stupid female, a dumb female, a foolish female, and you're more focused on, well, is he cute? Because I want to get the kind of attention that the pretty girls at my school got. So I feel like I deserve a guy who is cute. And then after that, we work on everything else because I'm dealing with my inferiority complexes from when I was in school. Okay, just understand that kind of stupidity is going to plague you for life. That will not be a temporary decision that you are making and eventually you'll move it aside. That is going to be a permanent decision that is going to affect you for the rest of your days. That will be a permanent one. That's not temporary, it's permanent. So you are look for a man who is relentless, because relentlessness will find a way. Now, what a woman respects is what the world respects. You see, as a man, the world is looking for a person who has answers. I've taught you all of this over the years. What makes a man valuable is his ability to generate answers. When you're a person who can generate answers, then when people have a problem, they look to you first. And when people look to you first, guess what? You just became their leader. And people have no choice but to respect the person that they depend on to lead them. And that's where a man wants to be. So if this man has set his sights on something, and you take a look at his core characteristics and see this guy is relentless, and then you go back and check his paperwork, that he's not just a guy who fumbles around for false answers. He's a guy who actually searches around till he finds the right one. Microcosmic success is what you're looking for. You're looking for a microcosm. If he can turn 1 penny into 2 pennies, then he can turn $1 into $2. If he can turn $1 into $2, he can turn $100 into $200. But is he even concerned about doing that? You see, a man can learn how to turn $1 into $2, but does he have the drive and the desire to do so in the first place? You see, you can teach somebody a skill. You can even teach somebody entrepreneurship. What I cannot teach them is to have the desire to want to be one. I can teach somebody economics, I can teach them business management, but I can't teach them to want to be good at it. He's got to bring that. I can't teach him to want to keep pulling himself out of bed after he's had his feet kicked out from under him, after he's worked to get some money together and something came up, after he found out that he's got to work harder. I can't be there to drive. I can be there every day and call him, but I can't make him driven every day. I can't make him relentless every day. I can't make him say, I am going to get there or die trying. And that's the level of dedication he needs. We are going to succeed or we are going to die in the attempt. Ladies, when you find a man that you can look in his eyes and then look over his life and see that he's overcome some things and that the things he's overcome get successively bigger, that's your growth stock. You can't get the guy who's got the Lamborghini. You need to recognize the character traits in the next fella who's on his way to getting it. And that's what you need to have. You need to have a keen eye on the fellow who is on his way. That's the one you want to snap up. You want to get him before he gets there and gets all the options that he's going to have access to. And he will appreciate the fact that you could identify that in him when other people couldn't, because he spent his life with that being unappreciated. When he meets a woman who does, he will remember it. He'll remember it. The next character trait is he focuses on excelling and not people. Now, here's what screws up females the most today. Females today, they want attention. Females want attention. They want attention. And man, they are out here doing the most to get it. They are doing everything to get attention, no matter how wacky, no matter how outlandish. They are doing everything hoping that butt cheeks will turn into a Benz. The females are hoping that booty cheeks will turn into a Benz for them. But they go looking for flash and glamour first. And I understand as females, you are creatures of ornamentation. But ladies, glamour is irrelevant when it comes to choosing a man who is a producer, choosing a man who can transform your life. You are looking for a workhorse, not a show horse. You're a female. You are supposed to be the show horse. He's supposed to be the workhorse. You be the show horse. That's your job. That's your responsibility. You're supposed to be the one who exudes beauty. You're supposed to be the one who exudes aesthetics. You're supposed to be the one who makes the landscape cuter. That's your job. Your man's job is not supposed to be cute. Because understand, that which draws its value from its appearance believes that that is the only thing that it needs to bring. That's the problem when a female starts looking for a male who exudes feminine traits. A male who is worried more about people than about performance is exuding a feminine characteristic. And too many females today are looking for a metrosexual male who's going to sit up here and feed into her ego. And you're supposed to be looking for somebody who he performs. And guess what? The ability to perform, ladies, is gonna be boring. Oh, I'm just gonna tell you right now, a fella who is a producer is boring. Or at least you'll consider it boring if you can't recognize and identify excellence. Excellence isn't a roller coaster ride. Excellence doesn't have sometimes it doesn't have a lot of sex appeal. Excellence doesn't go looking for a cute pair of shoes. Excellence doesn't do that. Excellence doesn't look at the superficial. Excellence only looks at utility and performance. And you want a male who can sit there day after day and withstand the monotony of maintaining his level of excellence every day, who can withstand the monotony of working at something even though he doesn't get immediate results and immediate success. You want a man who success is a journey of 1,000 steps, and he's willing to take each and every step individually. Mr. Swag ain't gonna do that. Mr. Swag doesn't have perseverance. Mr. Swag cannot sacrifice. Mr. Swag cannot tolerate discomfort. That's why the dudes you knew back in school with swag are all suffering and bummy and struggling today. And I'm going to say one more thing right here. And yes, I'm going to go ahead and give you a visual aid. A bunch of you chicks today, there's a whole lot of dudes out here who are struggling, and their lives are screwed up and struggling now because they were listening to a bunch of females who, when they were coming up, y'all females were rewarding them for having swag, and you emotionally crippled them. You made them think that because they could sleep with you or cute and they could sleep with you on easy terms, that was his level of performance. That his level of performance merely needed to be cuteness. That was all that would be expected of him. And a bunch of you females have destroyed these young men. Females today have destroyed them because you deceived them into believing that the only level of performance that they needed to deliver was looking cute. And then after years of telling them that, you pulled the rug out from under them, switched the damn rules up and told them, okay, now I need you to work. And he doesn't know how. He's incapable. So that's why you see so many cute young homeless men. Oh, hell. Did I just say that? Did I just say that? Yeah, I said it, and I meant it. You see a whole bunch of dudes out here. You walk through Home Depot, you go to Five Guys, you go on Skid Row. I got it in my documentary film, Race War. Bunch of black males out there with washboard abs. They got their goatees done up. It ain't a bunch of dudes out there really with scraggly beards. Yeah, it's a bunch of dudes with swag on Skid Row. The females ain't checking for them except the females on Skid Row. And they got there because a bunch of chicks, including their mama. Oh yeah, I said that. I sure did. A bunch of females, starting first and foremost with they mammy. A bunch of women told them that the swag was all they needed and looking cute was aight. And you destroyed them. As a result, you obliterated them. You decimated them. You wasted them. Because you told him all he had to be was cute. And all these other things you told him, that was for nerds. I don't like that. That doesn't excite me. So he focused on being alluring. He focused on being exciting. He focused on being attractive. But none of those things feed into the female ego, but they don't pay rent. They don't pay bills. They don't produce. Cuteness don't buy Cadillac Escalades. There is no line item when you're filling out to buy a car, there is no line item that says rate how cute the buyer is. Second mic drop. I've seen quite a few of those forms, and not a single one has a line that says, I mean, when they talk about getting rebates and refunds when you go to buy a car, rebates, manufacturers' rebates and discounts, there is no cute discount. At any car dealership in the world, there is no cuteness discount. Ladies, not even for you. Take it from a guy who was a car dealer. As a matter of fact, women get charged more at most of these dealerships. Never from me, but just understand, ladies, there is no cuteness discount. There is none. And women know this too, but they have no problem ruining and wrecking a guy who is young and stupid. And the females will tell him, ooh, you look like Future. You look like Migos. You look like Drake. Y'all are feeding to his ego, bloat him up, and sit up here and tell him that that's all he needs to do. You'll reward him with limitless sex. And then next thing you know, when you all actually need performance, y'all drop his ass where he is. You see, this is what Rollo Tomasi and the red pill racists and all those clowns don't get and they don't talk about. When they talk about the women wanting the hot guy at the foam cannon party. But what Rollo and friends will not tell you is that women abandon them. Now, that's what they won't tell you because he's never really had a female who abandoned the guy at the foam cannon party. So that's why he fixates on that. But the truth is, these females are cold-blooded as hell. If you don't perform, all of a sudden, that swag that she was congratulating you for, all of a sudden she abandons you. And fellas, you can't be a 40-year-old dude getting by on swag. It don't work that way. I mean, you might find some young, dumb, naive chick, but just understand, that's all you're going to get. You're going to be spending your time scrounging around for the dumbest, the densest, but you will not have a quality female at all. Not at all. So ladies, performance is often very dull. What they say, you know the old saying that nobody likes to see sausage being made. Even if you like sausage products or pork products, it doesn't really matter what you like. If it's a meat product, nobody likes seeing their meat products when they're being made. You don't like seeing the chickens being skinned. You don't like seeing the cows being butchered. And you damn sure don't like seeing the pigs thrown into that damn processor. But you might like the benefits of it if you like those kind of products. But nobody likes seeing it when it happens. Okay, but it's got to get done. So since it's got to get done, then you want a man who is the best butcher in town. You want a man who is excellent at it. You don't want a fella who sits there and his nails are manicured and his hair is oiled up and he's had the double color tint put on it. And he's got the diamond stud earring. Oh, he looks real cute and real dainty with his butcher knife. And nobody's going to buy anything from him because he don't know how to chop wood, much less chop beef. Forget about it. And females eventually lose their appetite for feeding males bullcrap like that when it hurts her. But I want you guys to understand something. Women will run you into the ground, bloating your ego, telling you that things that don't matter like swag. Women will run you into the pavement. They will ruin you if you let them. If you are a male who is unambitious because your mama told you you didn't have to do nothing, you didn't have a father to sit there and teach you about excelling. If you're a male who didn't have any of these core character traits put into you and all you really focused on were primal urges like sex and food, just understand there's a never-ending stream of females who will run your life into the gutter. And you might tell yourself you're winning because you can hop from one slutty broad to another. Just understand, eventually when that runs out, when the females have had their fun with you, because this is what understand, the number one most used sentence on the internet by females is, "I've had my fun." Number one used sentence by females over the age of 25, "I've had my fun." That's her putting all the swagalicious dudes on notice that she's making the transition and that your swag services will no longer be required. That's what she's trying to tell you. Your swag services will no longer be required. And let me be very clear. Remember, I did my program here when I started the business. Fellas, a woman by nature, and this is going to hurt your feelings, because a lot of you got. A lot of you been got off of what I'm about to say. Females, by their nature, punish males who cannot perform. Let me be very, very clear. I did not say that females by nature ignore them. I did not say that females by nature are indifferent. I said that females by their nature punish males who cannot perform. Oh, she is not indifferent about you. When a female sees that you can't do anything for her, she's not going to be indifferent. She is going to do something. That's why, as young men, you see, this is why the females have such bad blood with the nerds and the geeks. Because you see, when these fellas were young, the females punished them because at that time, she gauged performance by being cute, having social skills, not being socially awkward, having a high social IQ, being socially assertive and socially accomplished. Well, nerds and geeks don't do that because they're busy perfecting themselves. So what do the girls in school do? If you're a guy who doesn't have much social skills, and that's how she measures performance as a child, remember, childish females in their childlike state consider aesthetics and socializing. They equate that and define that as performance. So if you're a young fellow and you don't have those social skills, they punish you. They punish nerds, and all my nerds and geeks, listen to me right now. You lived it. You saw what the females did. They looked at you with disdain. They looked at you with contempt. But you need to understand that's female nature. Female nature is to punish that which does not perform. And let me tell you one more thing. This is good. That is evolution. Nature does not wish to perpetuate that which cannot perform. Now, the problem is that she's not really a good judge of what performance is, and if she had proper women around her, they would educate her about what true performance is. Eventually, if she's lucky, she'll have women who'll teach her. If she's not, life and missed meal cramps will teach her. But she punishes you when you don't perform. Now, when she gets older, Mr. Swagalicious with his hairline is all tightened up, and he gets his haircut done and whatnot, and he's got 50 pairs of Nike shoes. Yeah, but he ain't got a dime to his name. And he can't get him. If he had an unexpected expense of $100, and pretty much every expense for him is unexpected, this Negro lives from paycheck to paycheck. Females punish that dude. When a female sees you cannot perform, she punishes you. Do you want to know why it is that females are so relentless about child support? Because that is punishing you. If she gave her womb and you didn't perform, she takes that personally. She takes that personally. As far as a female is concerned, if she gives you the time of day, she's supposed to have a return on that investment. And if she has invested in you, she expects a return. And if there is no return, then she is coming for a pound of flesh. And that is female nature. And I don't want to hear a damn chick listen to me here right now try to deny it. Because every single man listening knows I'm telling the damn truth because they've lived it. Because they have lived it. When a female sees that you cannot meet expectations, she starts looking for another fella and then she starts flaunting it at you. Because she starts working to emasculate you. It's not accidental. Not accidental at all. When you fail to perform, she starts sitting there and saying, let me go ahead and emasculate him. She comes to castrate you. She comes to hit you where it hurts. She is here to punish you now because you have broken the fundamental unspoken agreement, which I have taught you all now for years now. There is an unspoken expectation in the female psyche when she is in the presence of a man. Females have an unspoken expectation that as a man, you are supposed to improve her life. And that she never needs to say it. She never needs to ask it. She certainly doesn't need to tell you. That's supposed to be just in you. And if she makes the mistake of grafting or coupling herself to you, and you are unable to fulfill her expectations, then she's going to punish you. J. Joe 4040, this program right here, you need to sit them down and have them listen to it. I'm gaming you up. Females, by their nature, punish you if you don't perform. So, fellas, you must perform. And if you thought some guy was being slick because he had swag back in middle school, just understand something. Your man 50 Cent told you that in his song Wankster. And everybody knows it because let's just be honest. Wankster was a really simple song. Had a good beat to it, but it was a real basic beat. But everybody, if I tell you, can you name one of the lyrics from Wankster, not this chorus, one of the lyrics, everybody remembers the same line. Damn, homie. In high school, you was the man, homie. What the hell happened to you? See, when you let females gas your head up and you let them blind you when you're young, then you don't get it. That, by the way, dude, the bill's coming due. The bill is coming due. To Chef Dice, the females don't encourage you. The man, that's what I've been saying the whole time. You all are not listening here. He has to bring those character traits himself. These are character traits that are supposed to already be in him. He's supposed to be on his job and pursuing his mission in the world, separate and apart from a female. A female is a side effect of a man pursuing excellence. A female is a side effect of a man pursuing his mission in the world. She's a side effect of that. Mr. Swag doesn't understand that. The fellas who got by on swag, they don't get that. And he doesn't get it because he's never been required to perform. He was able to get female attention without performance. Then once he gets an adult, the females, I'll be damned, he feels betrayed. He feels they stabbed him in the back. Let me tell y'all something. These swagalicious niggas are the most punked out, whiny, moany, temperamental, emotional tantrum throwing bastards you ever met, take a look at Future. Future is a hoe. Go take a look at a dude with a bunch of kids by a bunch of chicks. That is the most infantilized, petulant, tantrum throwing little idiot you ever saw. Everywhere you go, these niggas are whining about everything. They complain about everything. Go find a dude who got 6 or 7 baby mamas. He's always going back and forth. He's not quiet. He's not subdued. He's going back and forth. It is a never-ending train of drama. It's a never-ending train of drama. That's the problem. And without anyone to explain that to him, he's stuck. So when you take a boy and teach him that he doesn't have to perform, and then you dump him off into manhood, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. And he won't be able to get out of it because it's too late. So you want to find a fellow who is focusing on excelling, not focusing on people. You see, making people happy will make you popular. But you want a fellow who can be relentless and stay consistent and stay focused and persevere even when he's not popular. Let me tell you, when a man excels, he's going to have to do some stuff that ain't popular with people. If you're looking for a guy who is excelling, just understand that's probably a fellow, he's got to do some stuff that ain't popular. He ain't going to be popular with everybody. He ain't going to be cool with everybody like that. And that's just the way it is. You see, as females, it is in your nature to socialize. But in the modern era, we've told females they can judge males by feminine standards. So you go looking for males who can socialize. But that's not what a male contributes to your life. A male is supposed to contribute performance to your life. So you're looking for a guy who is focusing on excelling, not a guy who's focusing on people. Because let me tell you something, Steve Jobs didn't have no damn people skills. Go take a look at every biography ever written about Steve Jobs. He transformed the world. He invented devices that changed our society, and literally everybody who worked with him couldn't stop telling you about what a terrible person he was. That he was mean, he was acidic, he was abrasive, he was callous, he was merciless, he was rude. That's what everybody said about him, including his partner Steve Wozniak, who helped him start Apple. Wozniak said the same thing. Steve Jobs was smart and he was a visionary, but yes, he was incredibly difficult to deal with. You know why? Because Steve Jobs, being your friend wasn't a requirement of building the iPhone. Third mic drop. I'm giving you 10 tons of game. I'm giving you 10 tons tonight. Don't worry, don't look for your posers to ever explain this like this. They're still working on learning it themselves. They're over there right now, they're burning incense, spraying perfume, and taking notes, which is their position. Follow the leader. But just understand, being your friend wasn't a requirement of making the iPhone or the iPad or Apple TV. Being your friend was not a requirement of Elon Musk making the Tesla. Being your friend was not a requirement of Jeff Bezos creating Amazon. They did not have to be friends with anybody to get that done. And they don't have to be your friend now. So you're judging it by the wrong standard. You want a man who is focused on performance. There are a bunch of females out here right now. They are cute and broke and bummy because they spent their life choosing a bunch of dudes who couldn't upgrade them and couldn't do anything for them. They chose guys who could socialize. They chose guys who were glamorous. They chose guys who were cute. But they chose guys who were incapable of performing, and that when she attempted to impose a mandate of performance upon him, he broke. That's why you got so many bastard kids out here today, because that bottom bummy ass group of males that give in to that type of superficial ego stroking, those dudes ain't built to last. They ain't built to last. They ain't built to last. No, I'm giving it to you from the book. I'm giving it to you from the Black Book. I'm reciting the verses from the Black Book. Those fellas ain't built to last. Let me tell you, in the world that I'm from, ain't no pretty boys. Let me tell you something. I've been to a number of 5-star hotels and resorts in the last year. And every once in a while, you'll see some of these old sagging clown ass fools come up in there. Yeah, but you know what? They never, ever show up by themselves. For those of you who saw my New Year's program for 2021, them dudes are showing up and it's a gang of them. So it's like 7 or 8 dudes laying up and renting in one room, like a bunch of migrant workers. It's not a fella showing up with one female and she's looking on point. It ain't like that. And I've been to DC, Atlanta, Miami. It's the same everywhere. I have inspected the real estate. I've been down to Brickell. I've been down. Y'all saw me on Ocean Boulevard, Miami Beach. You get the point. Port of Miami. I ain't Rick Ross. And I'm telling you, it's the same story everywhere. The fellas who are sagging their pants, which is a sign of an infantilized, stunted growth, emotionally stunted growth individual. And if he's lucky, he's got a female who at least aesthetically looks cute, but she ain't about nothing. And she's suffering being with him. And understand, the cute fellas down the line, they got stories of chicks who cheated on them. Yeah, that's the way it works. That's the way it works. If she gets an opportunity to get a ticket out, she ain't walking, she's running. So while you're over there and you have been deluded into believing that your ability to rap to chicks and chat them up and talk about stuff and things like that, oh, I'm going to talk it up and we're going to talk up some game and talk, just understand the fella tangibles beats talk every day of the year. Let me repeat that one more time, just in case you are in your little old feelings, because I certainly want you to be there. Understand something, fellas. Tangibles beats talk every day of the year. Tangibles will beat talk every single time. Every single time. Go find the most swagalicious dude you want. Don't let him be up next to a player with resources. Just understand something. There ain't a tongue skill set in this world that is able to overcome tangibles. You hand that chick your talk, I will hand her a key fob. And we'll see which way she goes, although you already know which way she's going to go. See, that's female nature understands when to cut bait on performance versus potential. And your talk is potential tangibles. That key fob in her hands, oh, that's not potential. That's performance. But ladies, the guy you're looking for is not going to be this fashion plate If he's focused on fashion, he's not focused on excelling. He may be boring, or at least you think he's boring, because he's becoming a specialist at something. And that specialty will make him one of the best people in the world at what he does. And because he's one of the best in the world at what he does, he gets paid among the best in the world. He's got the best in the world skill set. He gets best in the world income. One follows the other. Swag and cuteness do not enter the equation at any time. Swag and cuteness have nothing to do with this discussion. So, we're done talking about that. The only thing we're going to talk about is performance. And if your fella can stay relentless and focus on himself and excelling, not focusing on pleasing other people and being cute to them, that guy is going to produce. And if he is relentless, even if he's not producing early, which, by the way, you shouldn't be looking for that because stocks need time to build up their value, but he should be showing you the steps along the way. He should be showing you where he's set modest goals and accomplished them. You see, that's the sign of performance. Performance is something you do every day. Females don't understand that. Performance is something you do every day. He's supposed to be setting goals for himself. He's supposed to be setting mile markers for himself. And he's supposed to be articulating those mile markers for you. He's supposed to be articulating those mileposts for you. He should be able to tell you, right now, I'm making $36,000 a year. In 24 months, I'm going to be making $72,000. And here's how I'm going to do it. And what he's supposed to do is tell you and then get it done. Now, you all recognize that pathology in another place in life. Tough guys. Who are the most intimidating gangsters you all could name? Who are the most intimidating gangsters you all could think of in your lives? Well, they all had one thing in common. If they told you, if they said something to you, it happened. If they said a threat, they made good on it. And eventually they didn't have to make threats anymore because people understood if he gives you the wrong look, that was the threat. And this guy always follows up on his threats. He says what he's going to do, but most importantly, he always does it. You better take him seriously because he always does it. Well, guess what? That's the same thing for a producer. When it comes to performance, he tells you, I'm making $36,000 in 24 months. I'm going to be making $72,000. Here's how it's going to get done. And then you sit there every day and you see what he's doing. But let me tell you something right now. If he's telling you that he's going to make $72,000, he's going to double his income, and yet he's not getting out of bed, he's smoking weed, he's playing Xbox, he ain't following up on it. So right there, now if you are distracted and blinded by swag and cuteness because you're young, dumb, stupid, naive, or you're just unfocused and silly, well, just understand, as a female, you will be punished for that behavior also. You'll be punished for it. And you deserve to be punished, so don't complain. But a fella is supposed to set goalposts and then he's supposed to accomplish them. If he says he wants to be a millionaire, then you should be seeing the pathway and the steps that he has accomplished to go from 50,000 to 150,000 and then 500,000. Because just understand something. If he's gone from 50,000 to 150,000, but he's telling you, but I'm still not where I want to be yet. And then every morning you see he's getting up and he's making moves. He's doing things and he's making moves. Understand something. Success can't really be hidden. You don't really have a way of hiding success. And success is power. Power doesn't need to hide itself. But success isn't going to be something he can hide. You're going to be able to see it. He won't be able to hide it because it's more important than you. Nino Black, the punishment is the heifer gets to struggle. Because the men who could improve her life have passed on the opportunity to do so. She's no longer eligible. When a female makes foolish choices, then she spends the rest of her life with males who are struggling. And that is 80% of males today are struggling. So when she had the opportunity to lock down that young nerd who was focused, who was driven, who was relentless, I'm not talking about the clowns with their anime collection giving pipe dreams about one day I'm going to be a comic book artist. That's the same as the guys talking about one day I'm going to be a rapper. No, that young fellow who's focusing on IT, focusing on mathematics, talking about engineering, that's the one you want to get. The one who's talking about entrepreneurship in the 12th grade, 13th grade, not 13th grade, but 13 years old, 14 years old. That's the one the females need to be focused on. The football player with swag, leave him where he's at. His chances of getting to the NFL are about the same as your chances of doing a backward somersault on top of a 3-year-old's head. You need to focus on something that can be controlled. So a man who is focused on excelling and not on people, he's going to have his head down. He's going to be relentless. He's going to be focused. He's going to have goals. And socializing with you is probably not going to be at the top of that list of goals. He will get to you when the job is done. Ladies, he will get to you when the job is done. When the job is finished, he will get to you. When the job is over. If the job is not over, he will not get to you until then. Too many females, when you are distracted and blinded by cuteness, you letting this dude smoke weed, you letting him play Xbox because you're a female who ain't on her square. And you, as long as he's makes a priority of laying up with you, you're like, okay, well, tomorrow he'll focus on excellence. Tonight he's focused on my draws, but tomorrow he'll be focused on excellence. So I'll lay up with him tonight, and tomorrow he'll get to excellence. And then tomorrow comes and it's more weed, video games, and laying up with you. And then you repeat the cycle over and over again. Well, I'll lay up with him tonight, but tomorrow he'll follow up on that excellence. And then tomorrow comes. Well, the next day he will. All right, the next day he will. All right, the day after that he will. And next thing you know, 2 decades have fallen off the calendar. You have exhausted all of your sexual marketplace options. And the male that you bet all your chips on, and understand, ladies, if you are a single mother, whoever got you pregnant, you bet all your chips on him. Just remember that. With this fella that you betting your chips on, better be a horse built to run. And if your horse is focused on being a show horse, and you sitting there, look at my cute old show horse, just understand, in every relationship, and then we're going to get to the next point. Ladies, I want to leave you on this third point with this thought. In every relationship, there is a workhorse and a show horse. If the man you are with is a show horse, then guess who the workhorse is? And guess who the workhorse is gonna be? By definition, it'll have to be your dumbass. You'll have to be the workhorse because you prioritize getting a show horse. Congratulations, you got your show horse. Now get your ass out there and work. You'll have no choice in the matter. Next. Oh, this one right here is going to get me in so much trouble. Oh, this is going to get me in so much trouble because now I got to talk about facts and figures. Now I got to talk about facts and figures with you. Ladies, do you know why 80% of the males today are not producers? 80% of the males today are struggling. 80% of the males today are unfocused and undriven because more than 80% of the females today are unfocused and undriven. And a female who is unfocused and undriven is going to be incapable of identifying a man who is focused and driven. No matter how she meets him, she's not going to be able to identify it. It's not going to work. It never will. It never can. You are not qualified to make this decision. You are not qualified to judge him because you're looking for a mix. You're not looking for a match. You ain't ready to help. You have nothing in common with a man who's focused and driven. Therefore, you can't get a man who's focused and driven. Let's be very, very clear. Clapping your booty cheeks will get attention. But clapping your booty cheeks is not a sign that you are either focused or driven. It is a sign that you can do tricks with your rear end. Don't fool yourself into believing that that is performance. Ladies, the reason that most of you only qualify for men who are unfocused and undriven is because most of you are unfocused and undriven, and I'm getting ready to gear up to do a program that's really going to be an extravaganza about this. Probably the most important program that has been done in this space. And it is going to be about, look for the title, He's the Best You Can Get. Ladies, most of you are going to have to accept that the man you are with right now tonight, roll over and take a look at him, that is the best you can do. Now, I've got a program I'm probably going to be looking at here, setting up, where that's going to be the title of it. So we can deal with that subject. Most females are walking around under the delusion that the man that they are with is a temporary rest stop and that she really qualifies for much better and that if she just tries harder, she can get it. No, ladies, for most of you, the man you sitting next to right now, that is the best you can do. You don't qualify for something better. You better accept this 1,500 square foot fixer-upper because you don't qualify for the 10,000 square foot estate. You can want it, you can wish it. Everybody wants it or wishes it, but only a few can get there. And you ain't one of the few. You know why? Because you are not a 10,000 square foot estate woman. You are unfocused, you are undriven, you are undisciplined, you are unambitious. So you qualify for a man who is unfocused, undriven, unambitious, undisciplined. That's what you qualify for. That is what you are. Therefore, that is what you get. That is it. And you have been fooled and deceived into believing that sex is going to transform a pretty boy into a producer. And it doesn't work that way. And you told yourself, well, I want to make sure he's cute and then everything else, well, he's got the potential. Here's the problem with potential. Potential is a deadly, dangerous slope because, ladies, everything in this world has quote unquote potential, but potential is an opinion in the hands of an amateur. Women today are amateurs. You're not professionals at analyzing and determining performance or potential for that matter. So your metrics for what qualifies for potential are invalid. You might not want to hear that, but it's true. And if you don't believe me, take a look at the men that 90% of the females are with today. If you believe that females today really do know how to judge potential versus performance, take a look at the men that 90% of the females are with today, and that will be your answer as to whether or not females really get it. That'll be your answer. That'll be your proof. But they really don't. So ladies, the reason that most of you are going to spend your lives struggling, the reason that most of you are never going to have a man with performance, the reason that most of you are asking, how can I identify him, but it will never do you any good to try, is because it takes a focused and driven woman to recognize a focused and driven male. Because, listen carefully, ladies. Just like the guy, just like the boy in school needs to possess those basic habits and character traits early on, the females need to possess those character traits of being able to identify him early on too. He's got to have it early so that when he's a man, you know he's got it. Well, guess what, ladies? You got to have it early too. And if you don't have it early, just understand you will be incapable of identifying it later. If you don't have this skill set, these character traits early on, you're not going to suddenly wake up one morning and possess them when you're an adult woman simply because you need them. That nerd who was sitting there in library studying, who was focusing on getting his engineering credentials, focusing on getting his IT credentials, focusing on getting his merchant marine credentials. Just understand, while he was doing that and you were mocking him or belittling him or ignoring him, you better ask yourself a question. While he was investing that time improving himself, what were you doing? What were you doing while that was happening? What were you doing while he was doing that? Were you also improving yourself? Were you being a focused and driven woman? Was that what you were doing? Were you becoming the female counterpart to him? Or were you doing something else? Were you actually doing that, or were you doing something else? And ladies, it ain't no game. It's really not a game. And I know I'm hurting some feelings right now because you were not taught this by your moms. You didn't see this as an example in the home. Your mama was running around laying up with a bunch of dudes who had neither potential nor performance. And so you've grown up with no example and you're like, well, I'm just out here ass out and I'm just out here bad. And for a lot of you, yeah, that's what it's going to be. You're out here bad. I mean, call it what you will, say about it what you want, but yeah, I mean, in reality, you really are kind of stuck. You really are out here kind of bad right now. That's exactly what it's going to be. You really don't have those options. You really don't have that ability. You really don't. And you need a man who can do that, but boy, it's going to be rough on you. It's going to be rough on you. I didn't say it's going to be easy. I didn't say it's going to be nice. I didn't say that. But ladies, that's what it's going to be. The reason why so much of this is so foreign to so many of you is because you don't actually have the ability to judge these things yourself, because that isn't who you yourself are. You're not that person. You want the benefits of that man, but that's not who you are. If you demonstrate to him that that's who you are, it might work out a little bit better for you. But so long as you and he are completely different types of individuals, don't expect that to get any better. Don't expect that to change. I could drop you in that library with him tomorrow. You're not going to be able to do anything with him. You're not going to be able to. You won't have that ability. So you will need him, but you will be incapable of having him. So ladies, if you want to know how to understand the difference between potential and performance, how can you judge and gauge a guy who is a growth stock? I've explained it to you tonight. This is really the nuts and bolts of it. This is really as simple as it is. He's supposed to have a track record, a set of habits. And those habits are the same traits that made the last guy $1 million. You're looking for the guy who's got the set of habits. If he's got the set of habits, the $1 million will come. The success will come. If he is relentless, the success is guaranteed. Let me say that one more time. If he has the habits, the success will come. If he is relentless, the success is guaranteed. And you know he's relentless when he focuses on excelling and not on people. He's got his mission and his goal in his mind, and everything else is secondary to that. That's how you wind up not being a female, trying to kick some grown ass man in the ass. He's 32 years old, and you think you're going to kick him in the rump and get him motivated to become that kid who was in the library reading and stuff. See, when females talk about inspiring or encouraging a man, what they really mean is finishing raising him. Well, I'm going to encourage him to have ambition. Ladies, you can't encourage a man to have ambition. He's either got it or he doesn't. If he's got it, you nurture it and protect it. If he doesn't, hopefully your dumbass didn't have children with him and you can move on to somebody who does. But you don't give a man ambition and you don't encourage him to get ambition. He's already got to have that. That's ambition in a man is like femininity in a female. A man can't make you a feminine woman. You either got that or you don't. If you got it, he can roll with you. If you don't, all he can do is leave you where you at. That's it. That's it. But a man you can't put that in a man. He either brings that you either choose a man who's got that or you don't. So don't think that you can go grab some 32-year-old dude and turn the clock backwards and transform him into that young man who desires to be great and desires to have discipline and desires to excel. Don't think that's going to happen. Don't think that at all. You get a guy with swag, just understands. Dudes with swag are fragile, temperamental, and lazy. And you are going to be Miss Fragile, Temperamental, and Lazy. Or at least you are about to become Miss Burdened by Fragile, Temperamental, and Lazy. But enough from me. The telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. The personal access code to the program that laid the foundation upon which all of your red pill, MGTOW, high value posers, alpha male wannabes, and all the other Nimrods have stolen and ripped off everything that they're going to say next week. You can hear it here now. And yes, folks, yes, I know. The posers are out there stealing more things. They're having teaching moments. I know, folks are sitting up here lighting me up. I'm like, don't worry about that. Yeah. They're still stealing things. I told you they're going to keep taking notes. They got to. No matter how much they don't like being called out about it, they got to come back to the well. So I understand. Wife material, teaching moments, whole 9 yards. You're going to hear it recycled, not even recycled. You're going to hear it repackaged, corrupted, and screwed up over there because they ain't going to say it right. You're going to get the real over here. Let's go ahead and see if we can take a few phone calls. Folks, like I said, if you try to call late, just understand, don't be mad when you can't get through. Let me get caller from area code 702. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's going on? This is Dunamis. I'm calling from a truck stop in Dallas, Texas, but I'm from Las Vegas.
All right. What did you say your name was again?
Dunamis.
Hello, Dunamis, and what's on your mind?
All right, so I apologize if this seems like a silly question, but I'm working on tightening up some areas of my life and want to use your example as my standard. Sorry, I'm kind of nervous here. Several months ago, you said something to the effect of we shouldn't seek entertainment. In the same breath, you said that of entertainment that we do ingest, it should empower you. If it doesn't, then it's playing you for an idiot. My three-part question to you is this. As a peak value man, such as yourself, what do you do to rest, take a knee, and get back on your game? When do you do so? And how do you know when to chill for a second, or as opposed to like keep on grinding, even though like you're exhausted?
Okay, I really only identified two things in there. What do you do to rest? Gotcha. First of all, Brother Neely Fuller talked about this. He said that white society is successful because they have perfected the art of turning work into recreation.
Gotcha.
When you travel around the world, and I don't know how many places you've been to or not, but when you travel around the world, you're going to find white men pretty much everywhere you go.
A bunch of
and if you go to going to the island place is really good. There's going to be one white man there. He owns a store. He owns a shop. He owns a stand. He owns something. And he's been there for years and years. When you go down to places like Florida, for example, I was in Miami a few weeks back. And you got white men, young white fellas who've come from other places and set up like small businesses and things like that. Modest things. But my point is, they have, understand, for them, that's part of the mission. You call it, like, for example, think about the golf course. Well, Negroes take a look at that and, well, let me go and rest and relax. Do you think your definition of rest and relaxation is what those white men are doing at the golf course? See,
absolutely not.
The black folk are there for diversion. You know full damn well, and I've driven by several golf courses. I don't really like doing that kind of thing, but I've been to enough golf courses and country clubs, and I see what goes on there. And I got friends and people who go there and stuff. It's just not my cup of tea personally, but I see it and I respect it. And when you see the white dudes, they go in groups. And I told y'all before, when you go to a golf course and you see 3 or 4 white men together in the chat room, Chris just said it, that's a business meeting.
Yeah, exactly. Just about to say that.
Okay, that is a business meeting with golf clubs. But do you know why? And here's when you will realize that you become a man. Do you know, I'm going to give you one chance to explain, why is it that business meeting with golf clubs is so essential? Why is that?
I haven't the slightest idea, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, at least he's honest enough with himself to say what he doesn't know. It is because
I appreciate that.
Other groups of people, and particularly the men, they can't enjoy gutter recreation. Let me explain what I mean by that.
Like strip clubs and getting drunk and all that crap.
Pump your brakes. You said you didn't know nothing. Sit back and soak up the business.
Gotcha.
Those men do the same things y'all do. They just don't do the same thing you do. What do I mean by that? Because the average guy, and yes, I will go ahead and throw up another visual aid for you here because that's what we do. The average guy doesn't care if he's laying up with a chick at the Motel 6 or the Mandarin Oriental. The average guy doesn't have standards, and he is at peace in a condition, in an area where he has no standards. These other folk got standards. He can't even enjoy the company of a woman unless it's in a certain environment. He can't be in a scummy, bummy environment and still be enjoying himself. Do you see what I mean? So
not really, sir. I'm sorry.
He has standards. His ability to enjoy himself comes with conditions.
Mm-hmm.
He could not happily lay up at the Motel 6. There's nothing there that he would enjoy about that. He's not doing it because he's not able to. That's the problem. He's not doing it because he's not able. He's not doing it because he can't enjoy it. Because he actually has a standard and he insists on that standard for himself. Now, for the average fella, he would sleep with a chick on a musty mattress in an alley. So this is why the golf club, the recreation and work merge. That they are able to get the two to fuse. Because he has a standard. And his standards do not allow him to rest on his laurels. So everything for him is recreation, and everything for him is work. Did you get that?
Yes, sir.
See, this is a brand. These are novel concepts, and if you hung around white men, Asians, Arabs, it's part of their culture and stuff. And black men used to have this, then single mother culture decimated it. But understand, to the focused man, recreation is work, and work is recreation. They are both interchangeable. When he's doing one, he's doing the other. So it is impossible to wear him out. It is impossible to fatigue him because you are waiting for a vacation and he's like, I'm already on vacation. And then when you're on vacation, you're worried about what's happening back at the job. And he's like, I'm already on the job. And for y'all, it's stressful just trying to fuse those two together. The most successful people in the world are the ones who confuse the two. Not confuse, but can fuse the two. Everybody else who's underachieving, they're the ones who fail to fuse the two. You said you're a truck driver, correct? Or at least
yes,
you said you're at a truck stop. You want to know how to become wildly successful at what you do?
I would love to know. Yes, sir.
Fall in love with every mile. The actor Charles Dutton, after he got out of prison, because as y'all know, Charles Dutton, if you ever saw the TV show Rock, he did time in prison. And I remember he produced a movie called First Time Felon. And they had an interview segment afterwards. And they talked to Charles Dutton about it and asked him what was his philosophies about it and what he learned and things. And he said, what it is you have to learn to fall in love with the struggle, is what he said. But I will give it to you differently. You have to learn to love every mile you drive. That's why it's really advantageous to be a long haul trucker. You get to see, instead of you sitting up here thinking I'm trapped in this damn truck, you need to see it as I'm exploring America. I'm seeing things. Because brother, understand something. I don't really like to fly like that. I like to drive instead. And the reason why is, do you realize how much you miss at 30,000 feet? Well, yeah, it would be quicker and less taxing in some ways, but I have seen America. You can't see America at 30,000 feet. I've seen America. I've driven through these places. I have visited these places. This is why I can tell y'all street by street, block by block. And guess what? My life is better and richer and fuller for it. But if I refused to invest that, If I see what I'm doing as work instead of seeing it as something else, because understand it really is a state of mind. This idea that the purpose of your life is to get a bunch of money so you can go lay on a beach and vegetate somewhere, that's bullcrap. I've done it. I was there for about 2 good days before I was out of my mind. And any person who can sit on a beach for 3 or 4 weeks and they just cool being there, they're not going. They'll never get to that beach because they can't work anyway. So this idea that what you do to produce is something you get is an interruption to your life. No, that is the purpose of your life. And you will never be great at anything until you stop seeing your vocation and your work as your adversary. You must see it as your ally. You must see it as the power source that makes you what you are. Everybody else sees wheels on an 18-wheeler. Anybody who's seen the TV show Ice Road Truckers knows what I forget the main guy, Hugh, was his name? I think his name was Hugh. But with the phrase they always use, turning and earning. And that's where you're supposed to be at. But brother, I can't give that to you and nobody else can give that to you. You have to give that to yourself. You have to see that semi-truck as your ally. You got to see that semi-truck as Optimus Prime. That is your ally, not your adversary. You have to see those miles the way that a bodybuilder sees lifting weights. Arnold Schwarzenegger said that he never won a competition. He didn't see it as season by season. He won it rep by rep. And that what fueled him to pick up the weights every rep was that he realized that every rep that he did, that is each individual movement, every rep got him closer to his goal. So you see, that's the way that you persevere, brother. You can't do something for an extended period of time if you see it as your enemy. When you see the action as your ally, not your adversary, then you will be able to do it relentlessly, and you will be the best in the world at it. And all you're doing is driving the truck. It's not like you're doing astrophysics. And the other thing is, fall in love with the solitude. You need to work on boning up on your music. Now I'm talking about music as far as expand your musical repertoire. You need to be listening to podcasts and everything else. You need to be using this in your time. Brother, you're getting paid to sit in a truck and be by yourself. And there's a bunch of folk who love that because they don't like to hang out with people like that. Well, if that's you, brother, that's where the hell you need to be. You should be grateful that you found something that pays you way more than minimum wage and lets you do it without having to sit up here and be burdened with being forced to interact with other people. And if that doesn't fuel you, if that's not fueling you, then the problem is you. Not the truck, not the job, not the vocation. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you see it as your enemy, it will fail. And you will get tired of it. It will be abrasive. It will be a grind. And you'll be right back here complaining. And that's the way it'll be for the rest of your life. How do you know when to chill? Once again, I must refer to Neely Fuller because he and I see this the same way. I don't have a lot of respect for people who chase leisure time. I really don't. I don't. And let me tell you, every one of my girlfriends will attest to this, that anybody who's been on vacation with me understands it wasn't much of a vacation. I mean, just think about it right now. Like, for example, I've been all around the country now for the last 5 years. Have you all ever seen me miss a broadcast except for technical difficulties? Have you ever seen me disappear for 2 or 3 weeks? Have you ever seen me posting up pictures on the beach or anything like that? Even for the stuff that I did. No, when I went to Atlanta for New Year's, you saw he's working. He's around the hotel. He's getting footage. He's editing things. You can tell he ain't sitting here partying and smoking it up with everybody else. He's out here doing his thing. When I went to Miami, I wasn't down there chasing skirts and pinching folk on the booty. I was out there doing my thing. And what I'm saying is that's what I've always done, which goes back to what I was saying here tonight, brother. This ain't a new thing for me. This is a set of habits that I have had since I was a child. Thank my parents. I had that set of habits then. And I was taught by them that you do not see work as your adversary. You learn to be great at everything you do. And when you're great at something, you enjoy it. Show me somebody who hates what they do, and there's somebody who's not very good at it. Why do you think it is that every cardiovascular surgeon you've ever met, if he's one of the best in the world, he's an old ass man, but he's still the first one in the office every day? How the hell is that, man? How was he first in the office every day? 50 years.
Loves to be there, loves his job.
I remember I used to have an architect. Well, I won't go into that. But anyway, you know, there are folks who are in professions and they've worked for folk for so long, and when they die, their damn clients show up at the funeral. And then you realize he's got hundreds of clients who showed up for the funeral of various ages. So you had young people in their 20s, and then you had people in their 70s, all from the same professional. How the hell you think he did that all those years? Weren't there other people in his profession who they couldn't stand doing it? I get tired of sitting up here and working on people's teeth every year and drawing up these plans and engineering this stuff. And boy, I get so tired of that. How do you think he was doing it for 50, 60, 70 years? Don't you think he would get tired of it like everybody else? But you're not looking at it the right way. The reason they got tired is because they never became excellent at it, and they saw it as their enemy. And if I could just figure out some way to get away from this, as opposed to turning around and saying, I am going to adopt you, I am going to master you, and you are going to produce for me. And in your case, you're in the damn sweet spot. We're not going to run from our truck. We are going to run to it. We are going to get into it every day like Tony Stark does Iron Man, putting on your armor and off we go. And unlike everybody else on the freeway, every mile you drive is making money. Absolutely. Therefore, every mile that you drive, every foot you drive is literally bringing you closer to your goal, both physically and economically and figuratively. Nigga, chill for what? I am chilling. I am chilling. I'm straight. I am chilling. Dude, I'm in my truck. And like I said, this is why you want to be an owner-operator. Because if you become an owner-operator, you can get a rig with a really good system in it. Because I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, if I'm in the vehicle, I got to have a good sound system in it. Just got to. I just got to.
Oh, absolutely.
But to be an owner-operator, get you your own rig with your own sound system in it. Or if you're lucky, work for somebody who has new rigs that got a good system in it. Especially if it's got Bluetooth or something. But, man, and ball out. That's it, man. I'm in here. I got my non-alcoholic drink of choice or whatever. I'm straight, man. Let me get out here on this road and see some things. Let me go long haul. Let me choose some routes to some places I've never been. This idea of monotony. When something becomes monotonous, then you want to escape it. It's impossible to fuse work and recreation if you see it as monotony. But of course, if you're running from it, you will. If you embrace it as a challenge, and I know that sounds very cliche, but if you embrace it and say, you know what, I'm here to prove something to myself. When you start adopting it, things change. Was that your last question?
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Caller from area code 470. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
My name is Alex, calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Alex from Atlanta, what's on your mind?
Hey, question for you, man. What would your advice be on married men who struggle with the same issues as someone who would consider himself to be a producer, and then dealing with, your spouse, not understanding what it takes and what you got to go through and what you got to deal with every day when you're grinding and you're bringing home those results, but you don't really seem to get that appreciation or that recognition?
Okay, so you're saying, what do you do? I guess you're asking, how do you deal with being a man who is trying to accomplish and you don't have a supportive spouse? Is that what you're saying, basically?
No, like you have a spouse, because a lot of the perspective that where you're coming from comes from single men. How do you apply that to an individual who's married?
Right, you're saying that, but it only applies if you're saying that you have a spouse who is not supportive.
Right, exactly.
Okay, that's what I just said. So what you're saying basically is, how do you deal with having a spouse that's not supportive?
Yes. Yes.
First of all, you do not tell people things, you show people things. Okay?
All right.
So you don't tell them anything, because women don't listen to words. Women frequently test men. So she especially if it's something that could turn out badly for her, she has a vested interest in ignoring what you're saying. That even if guys have to understand that women, by their nature, are willing to exploit men if we allow it. Now, some folks say the vice versa is true. If a chick wants to be a hoe, the men will exploit it if you allow them. And that's the way it goes. As a man, if you allow yourself to be exploited, she can love you on the good side, but if you allow exploitation to become an option, it can go there too. It can go there too. So your job is not to allow that. Well, how do I not allow that? First of all, when I hear this kind of talk, what I immediately recognize is I'm dealing with somebody who doesn't have options. That's the problem. When a female believes that she is your only option, then guess what? It's going to be a difficult thing. If she believes that she is the best you can do, if she believes that she is the only one, if she believes that you can't do any better, or you won't do any better or do any differently, then hell yeah, she's going to be slothful on her throne. She's going to be abusive. She's going to be the whole 9 yards. Now, remember what I told you all. I taught you all, well, how do you defeat hypergamy? Uncertainty. What does that mean? When a female feels certain about you, she's going to test you. When a female is uncertain about you, she's going to think twice. So what this tells me is there isn't uncertainty in the picture. Not solid uncertainty. Well, how do I know I got solid uncertainty, TBA? If your financial, intellectual, and social capital are at their highest. So let me ask a couple of questions. How much we make in a year right now?
$360.
Okay. So your financial component is together, but this probably leads into the other issue. And Rolo stole this from me. Thank you very much, Rolo, for stealing it and not attributing it, but everybody knows it was me. You have guys who are professional alphas. They're alphas at their profession, but not in their personal. And that can be very confusing. When a guy has character traits and he's able to channel being an alpha, but he only channels it in certain areas. That's why Swagalicious doesn't work. He can be an alpha in interpersonal skills with females, but when it comes to the rest of the world, he's a chump. He can't utilize any of those abilities over here. So there's the problem.
Well, I would ask you, because I definitely exercise that ability in my marriage, but it's led to the point now where we're not even sleeping in the same bed anymore, because I'm not giving any room up. I'm not giving any slack up. I'm going to hold it down. I'm the male. I'm the head of my household. But it's getting to the point now where it's like, dude, we might even get a divorce because there's so much head bumping where that's concerned. Because I'm not giving and she's not giving.
Okay, what exactly is she not giving?
I would say that, how can I put that? You know, the man is the head of the household, and you need to yield to that. You need to let him run his household the way he wants to run it.
Okay,
you don't want to do that.
That's not.
You want to buck all the time.
Okay, but that's not something that's discussed though. So that's the first problem I would have is that's not really something that's up for discussion. So if there's discussion going on, we've already let it go too far. How long has this been happening?
We've been married for a year, so this has been going on for like 6 years.
Okay,
since before we even got married.
Thank you. So this isn't new, and this is why I meant here before.
No.
That's why I was saying if this has to be a discussion, it's already gotten too far. She was already a disciplinary problem. So let me ask you something else here. How much did let me find it here. What size does she wear? 4, 6?
I would think maybe 6 or 7.
There you go. Let me guess. What skin tone is she?
Light skin.
There you go. All right. And on a scale of 1 to 10, and be honest, don't inflate the number. Be honest with yourself. If she had to go pick up a man tomorrow morning, on a scale of 1 to 10, even numbers only, you can only use even numbers. On a scale of 1 to 10, if she walked up to another guy making the kind of money you do, what number rating would he give her?
Even numbers only. Yeah, because I would have said a 7. I'd have to say between 6 or 8. I want to say 7, man. We say even numbers, so I have to go. Let's go with 6.
Yeah, I mean, we're either going to put her on the higher end of pretty or on the lower end.
Okay, the higher end for sure.
Now, when you say that she's an 8, now here's the problem. Some folks out there, when you listen to Kitten Heels, some folks out there are silly enough and stupid enough to say that Kelly Rowland's prettier than Beyonce when literally nobody's ever said that. But some folks are trying to save their asses because they've kind of destroyed their credibility in other areas, so they think they're going to pander. But when you say that a female is an 8, you are saying that she's almost perfect. And that if you really dressed her up good, she could pass for a 10. So are you sure you want to say an 8? Because you were saying between a 6 and an 8. And that's a wide gulf right there. 6 and 8, that's really not something that blends into each other. She is either definite.
Right, so we're going to go on the safe side.
Okay.
We're going to go with the 6 on the safe side.
All right. That's what I mean there, because here's the real thing. How old are you?
I am 39.
And how old is she?
She is 30. Just turned 30.
And you've known her for 6 years.
Yep.
Now, what I was about to say is I'm pretty sure she's significantly younger than you are. And I knew that. That's why I was saying, how old are you all? Because I knew she was significantly younger because of the way you're acting. No offense, but because of the way you're acting. You let her get away with a bunch of 26-year-old crap. Actually, at this point right now, 24-year-old crap. You met her when she was younger. And that's the way it works. I mean, let's just be very, very clear. We let young chicks get away with all kinds of scandalous things there because they're younger. And we're not expecting very much. The problem is when we make a commitment to them, either under the misconception or misnomer that we're going to coach her or, finish molding her or whatever. But like I said with the ladies, we need to recognize when somebody's got core character flaws, because those character flaws are not going to go away. And you're not going to be able to coach them or develop them out of her without a hell of a lot of work. And the problem is, once they reach a certain point, they're set in their ways.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I say, it's just one of those things where, in your case here, I understand how you got into this mess. You know, your money was straight. You got your little cute 24-year-old chick she had ways about her, and I'm not throwing people in glass houses. Do not throw stones, okay? So I'm not doing that. You know, sometimes you get a chick who's a bit of a disciplinary problem because they're a little spicy or whatever, but that's the female equivalent of getting a guy with the edge because he's, quote, exciting. So sometimes we get a chick who's a bit of a disciplinary problem because it switches things up some. Females do that, whatnot. The difference is a female screws up when she gets pregnant by Mr. Well, I want a fella with some edge and some swag. She messes up when she gets pregnant. It's one thing to sleep with him. It's another thing to get pregnant by him. Now you're stuck with this dude. And for men, we screw up when we either get her pregnant. It's double trouble for us if we either get her pregnant or get her married. Now we're stuck and bound to this problem. And remember, females, and it doesn't matter how old they are, females know the law. And they know the law and the courts are on their side. And they have been told that it doesn't matter what happens, everybody's going to have their back. All the laws are being written specifically to protect them and protect their interests. Hell, the Supreme Court just threw out a case I'm talking about a couple days ago, from a men's rights group about selective service. So the Supreme Court basically literally just said that it is perfectly fine for the U.S. government to discriminate against men and to say that men can be required to sign up for selective service, but not women. Forget the amendments of the Constitution, all those equality clauses that they keep evoking for women. The Supreme Court just said, literally, yeah, that only applies to women. Yeah, we know this is discriminatory, and if Congress doesn't do anything about it, well, so what? That's literally what just happened. You think females are oblivious to this? They were spitting bullets. They were sweating bullets when they were talking about expanding selective service to females. Females all across America started sweating bullets. They don't want equality. They want privilege and advantages. And they learned this early. Now, I'm saying this for all the other guys out there. Don't delude yourselves into believing that just because she's 20 or 21 years old and she's acting with a certain amount of naivete that she don't get it. She gets it. She gets it. So we have to be clear about that. We have to be clear about exactly where their heads are really at. Do you have any children with her?
I do, one. And I came into the marriage with one. Well, she had one. She had a daughter. And I've had a son with her, 5 years old.
So you grabbed a 24-year-old single mom.
I did. Now, she got a lot of good qualities in my defense. But I did.
How are those qualities comforting you now?
And some of them, yes.
Okay, then stay where you are and enjoy the comfort.
Okay.
If you're still finding comfort in it, then by all means go ahead. If it was worth what you're going through now and it still comforts you now, which is what you just said, well then get comfortable. I wouldn't go anywhere because it'll be an expensive divorce no matter what you do. What does she do for a living?
She's a pharmacy technician.
Yeah, there you go. So the hit wouldn't be quite as big as it would be if she was working at Walmart as a greeter. But by the way, like I say, dude, if the comfort that you received, if you still see some of it there now, even during all this, then just get comfortable with it and hope that she changes her ways. That's the best I can say to you when you respond to a question like that. When I ask the question I asked and you respond the way you just did, what do you expect me to say? He's saying it. I'm still getting some comfort out of it. I don't know why he's calling me then if he's so comfortable, but all right.
And you've made that comfortable.
Yeah, it sounds like you're pretty damn uncomfortable to me.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're pretty damn uncomfortable. So, like I say, man, we have to level with ourselves. But in this case right here, we got a 24-year-old single mom, and we married her. And see, here's the real problem. I need you dudes to understand something out here. Brother, were you raised by a single mom? Be honest.
Yeah.
Okay. I need y'all
For the
to
majority of it.
I need y'all to understand something about that whole situation, okay? What you need to understand about that whole situation is there is no motivation. There's no obligation to marry a single mom. If you're going to deal with one, this is why I discourage young fellas from dealing with single moms, because y'all don't know how to deal with one from a position of strength. You don't know how to keep her at a distance. And go back through my archives here from the early days of the business. I did a program about single moms and sexual warfare. These are young females, and you think that because she's younger than you, what you don't realize is, brother, she's seen some things you hadn't seen by 30. If she's a single mom, that means she's already been screwed over by some dude, or even if she caused herself to get screwed over. The problem is the situation didn't turn very good at all. So she's stuck in a situation. And she's had to learn a lot of things real quick. And in her mind, the definition of correcting the situation is learning how to get over on dudes. So when she enters her next relationship, she's coming at it from the standpoint of, I got to get him before he gets me. I got to have him over a barrel. Well, how are you going to get him over a barrel? But she also understands that her sexual marketplace value is highly negated. So how do you get somebody over a barrel when your sexual marketplace value is highly negated? You turn the sex up to 11. Let's be very clear. Single moms are very good for doing all kinds of nasty, mind-blowing stuff that other chicks out here wince at. Single moms know they ain't got the option of being prudish. She got to be a porn star. She got to go for it. So the stuff these other chicks hem and haw and shuffle their feet about, single moms demonstrate how they became single moms. And dudes are like, well, hell, I'm getting a lot of cooperation, and access was a whole lot easier than it was over there. The issue is that single moms understand. She understood why the first baby daddy never married her. And so if she can find somebody else who even leaves that door open a little, if he's even the slightest bit receptive, she's going to work that wedge and get him, because she understands her time is running out. Even if he doesn't get it. And she also understands, if I keep sleeping with him long enough, he's going to start seeing me as a wife. They are very crafty. They have to be. Single moms are very crafty by nature, because they're trying to make up for all the dudes who got over on them. And now they're going to take it out on you. Halle Berry was very good for that. Halle Berry, when she's putting out those interviews talking about that she was deaf in one ear because, quote, one of my ex-boyfriends punched me in the ear, but she would never say who it was. Now, some folks implied it was Wesley or whatever, but Halle's also diabetic. But, some folks implied it was Wesley, but the real issue about that is this was already after Dave Justice and a bunch of other people. So she deliberately didn't say who it was because she wanted suspicion to fall on all of them, and it did. So she was getting even with everybody. Well, that's the way single moms think. I don't want to just get even with one of you. I want to get even with all of you. So then now she's just got a general grudge against men in general. Now I'm explaining this to all the other fellas out there. You can ignore this at your own peril. But this is a prominent part of female culture today. You ignore this at your own peril. If you get with a single mom, she has to have a specific role to play. She's going to have a specific position to play, and you cannot let her out of that position. And here's the other thing. You don't even have to. Why is it that the last fella... Tell me something, brother. And for all the fellas out there who are dealing with a single mom and thinking they got to sit up here and do all this extra stuff, tell me, name one thing that she has given you that she didn't give the guy before you. Name one.
Damn, man.
Name one thing that you had to marry her to get that the guy who got her pregnant was unable to get because he wouldn't marry her. Name one thing.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to deliver an answer on that one, man.
Okay, now
can't do it.
Now here's the problem. You upgraded her life. You had to deal with all the inconvenience of her and the little bastard she come with, and you upgraded her life. The guy who got her pregnant didn't have to do none of that. He got everything that you got and didn't have to marry her. That's the reason it doesn't make sense. You're paying 5 times what the car is worth with a flooded title. And the person who flooded it didn't pay 5 times what it was worth originally. He got it at a discount originally before it got flooded out. You paid 5 times more afterward. And you could have gotten everything he got, and she would still be following you there. You know why? Because they ain't got options. See, y'all, a lot of you fellas, you're successful at your jobs and stuff, but this is the real handicap of the successful nerd or whatever. You all do this young, but because you lack the social skills, these single moms go looking for a fellow who's got high professional skills, low social skills. Because she knows she can outmaneuver you socially. She knows you don't get a lot of female attention like that, and she knows how to pick that lock. And that's what they do. They can spot you guys like a pimp can spot a chick he can turn out. And then she's like, okay, this guy ain't really used to attention like that. Let me blow his mind. And she touches all the right keys, and just like you said, that's what you really meant when you were talking about, well, I mean, she had a lot of good characteristics when I met her. No, this is typical single mom stuff. They play the role. They know why they've never been a wife. They just don't want to do it until it's required. And then even then they don't want to do it. They just play the role. But as soon as y'all marry them, the real damn thing comes out. It's like she a different person. Well, no, she's the same person. She just doesn't have to pretend to like those things you like anymore. Now she's in it for her. She doesn't appreciate what I do. No, she doesn't appreciate you. She appreciates the lifestyle you provide. But she doesn't appreciate you. And once you give her a legal right where the state can say, well, she doesn't have to respect you. And yeah, we got a bunch of messed up laws in that regard, because if a marriage is over, a man shouldn't have to support a female financially any more than the female should have to support him emotionally and sexually. So, of course, yeah, like I said, of course it's screwed up, but this is where we're at right now. But let's just be very, very clear. Walking in the door, if you get with a single mom, by definition, you're playing Russian roulette. So in this situation, brother, all I can really tell you is if it's gotten that far along, and let me ask you one more thing, has there been any infidelity?
Not on her side, no.
But on yours?
Mm-hmm.
And she's still there?
Yes.
Okay, then what you upset about?
What is she upset about?
No, I said, what are you upset about then?
Oh. I just feel like the support is just not where it needs to be. Like, for example, I built I'm on my second business now that I built from the ground up. She's got degrees in business administration and all of these different things that would be very helpful to that business. And with that help, I'd be able to double where I'm at right now. No doubt about it. I've already seen the whole plan, but she doesn't even want to cooperate with that. And that was the main struggle that we've had from the very beginning when I had my first business, because I was trying to get it off the ground, get it going. I was making good money. The revenue was there, the potential, all that was there.
Let's be clear about a fallacy that you just latched on to. You're trying to get her involved in the business directly. do you realize that if you do that, then she legally could divorce you and take the business?
I understand that is a scenario.
I mean, not only this guy isn't asking to give up part of his assets. He is literally requesting to give her legal leverage and legal rights to be able to claim ownership in the business. I mean, just listen to what he's saying. He is so enamored with her. And this is the real reason why nerds, when they finally do come out of their shell, they need to start dealing with a number of different females so they can get used to it and don't get attached to just one, because females learn early not to get attached to one man. They learn that early. They don't pedestalize men. You've pedestalized her to the point that you're trying to elevate her to things she doesn't even deserve. And now you want to make a contract ain't going to save him from what, shut up in the chat room. That contract ain't going to help him with this. If he brings her in at that level, she will be able to go to court and argue that she's got proprietary rights.
Well, what good would that be if it's, it's a service business? So if you can't run it all.
Okay, here's my point.
And not only that,
you're already in it. At this point right now, we're talking about right now is academic. It really is. Because you're already in it. Once you married her, you gave her legal rights to property. But what I'm saying is take a look at your Take a look at your mindset. Your mindset has been about getting her all ingratiated into things that she doesn't really need to be in. She really doesn't. All she needs to do is understand your business. So when you get home, you can bounce ideas off of her. That's great. She don't need to be all up in your business running it for exactly what you're going through right now. This is the reason you don't do that. It's cool if she can understand it and can comprehend it. That's great. You come home from work, you can sit here and shoot the breeze about what you're doing and stuff like that. You can bounce ideas. That's great. As far as her being able to take reins of power and claim ownership of things, hell no. Hell no. There's a reason that Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates were able to get divorced and the businesses are still standing. Negroes don't get that. We sit up here and give them the rights to open up doors and keys. And then later, because if it did come down to divorce, you would then want to try to take that control back from her. Now, if it actually did come down to it, you would want to go into court and argue, oh, she wasn't really that important. She didn't do this and didn't do that. While you're sitting here saying that you're upset because she wouldn't do that. You can't have it both ways. Your woman needs to be able to understand your business. You should not be sitting there depending on her to run it or be integrally involved. It's great if she can accompany you. It's great if she can be, the CEO's wife. That's great. It's great if she represents you to the public. But as far as I need her to develop ideas and patents and come up with business strategies, hell no, you get an attorney for that. You get an attorney and a CPA. And a financial planner if you need one. You tell her, okay, I'll call you when we get done talking. Why? Because this is my team. This is my team. I'm the captain of the ship, and I'm the captain of the ship, and you join my crew because I run my ship. But you always remember, at the end of the day, you are going to run this thing. And if things ever do go south, you can get another woman. Can you really get another business?
Well, I don't have a choice. I'll make it happen. But I understand what you're
Okay, and how much time and effort are you spending trying to do this all over again? You're already 39.
Yeah, a lot.
Okay.
Tons. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
Not a lot of time.
You really got to stop with the trying to save face thing. It doesn't work. You're wasting more time.
Okay.
All you can really do is invest more wasted time. That's all you can really do. Our job as we get older is to stop setting ourselves up for sabotage like that. That's what we're supposed to be doing. So Right now, to be totally honest with you, I'm just going to be honest. I never advise people to get a divorce because if you do divorce her, I ain't going to come snuggle up with you. Now, she'll snuggle up with you at night and stuff. If I do make you tell you to divorce her, I'm not coming out there to snuggle up with you. So I suggest you stay with the one you're with because Jason ain't going to come do it. But what I will tell you is, you are really going to have to make it clear about where you're going and where you stand. And if nothing else, dude, it needs to be a reward system. It really, really does. If you got a side chick, you can start investing over there. But I am going to tell you where your wife is concerned, and she's the mother of your children. I really, like I said, I'd be interested to hear her side of the story. I really would. Because I'm going to be totally honest. There's a couple of parts that are missing here. I see some pieces that are missing. Because I know single moms are behavioral problems and disciplinary problems, absolutely. But it sounds to me like what you are insisting on. And if I talk to her, I bet she's going to clarify this. Because so far, you haven't named any personality trait that's bad. You haven't said that she's a hoe. You haven't said she's a hood rat. You haven't said that she overspends money. You haven't said that she doesn't cook. You haven't said that she doesn't clean. You haven't said that she doesn't give you a peaceful home. You haven't said that she's a bad mom or irresponsible with your kid. You haven't said any of those things. And I've talked to you at length now. And you haven't said anything like that. The only thing I've heard a complaint about is, well, she doesn't appreciate what I do like that. Okay, how do you figure that? Well, because she won't get involved in the business and it would make my life easier. Okay. Other than that, what's your problem with her?
I would just say non-submissive.
Non-submissive in what way? Because you just said non-submissive is I want her to help with the business and she won't. What else you got?
She's bucking all the time. I mean, yeah, you're really breaking it down right now, making me think about some things. But man, just bucking. Like, oh man, I now that you've said everything you have, I got to sit down and think about some of the things that you said to really even be able to consider that. To be honest with you.
Okay, here's going to be my suggestion to you: hire a personal assistant with an MBA. You're in Atlanta. There's plenty of young ladies who've been to college and gone off and got an MBA and they can't do nothing with it because they thought a white corporation was going to hire them and they found out the hard way that wasn't going to happen. Hire you a personal assistant. You certainly make enough money for it, allegedly. Hire you a personal assistant who's an MBA. If that's really what you want, sounds like what you need is a work wife. And I'm not advising dudes to mess around with their wives or any mess like that. And by the way, don't listen to anybody sitting up here telling you they can coach you in that because they're just out here talking out their ears. But you need to have a woman that you do business with. You do not need to be trying to mix this with your wife. She didn't sign up for that. She didn't ask for it. And she doesn't feel comfortable doing it with you. And furthermore, that's not even something you want. You just want her to be able to understand it. Stop trying to get her integrated into your business. If you want a female for that, go hire one. And that's the best way to do it anyway. And furthermore, she will actually want to be involved. And second of all, she will be work for hire because she's an employee. And leave it at you hired her to be your advisor. Great. If you make the amount of money you claim you do, then that shouldn't be an issue. But leave your wife out of it. You have not named a single negative character trait about her. Not even one. You just want her to be compatible with your business interests because clearly you define yourself in that. You're going to have to accept that that's a lot. That's just like women who want a man to love makeup and perfume. You're trying to get her to cross a line you shouldn't. And you said that she has degrees, correct? A degree in what? Because you said she was a pharmacy technician.
Business administration.
Okay. And
she's getting ready to get her doctorate in the pharmacy.
Okay, thank you. So
line.
she has a degree. You keep talking about this degree in business administration, and she loves business administration so much that she got into pharmacy for it, in pharmaceuticals for it.
Yeah,
clearly the business administration thing didn't work out, and that's not something that she's interested in, and you harping on it as if it's something relevant. She has changed careers, and you are refusing to accept that that's what's occurred. Because that would be, you think that would be in your best interest. Furthermore, brother, just because she has a degree doesn't mean she's good at it. That's the other problem. It doesn't mean she's good at it. You're trying to pigeonhole her into something that you can't even quantify would be worth it. Find somebody who has the desire. Find someone who that is their purpose. Find someone who is not conflicted about it. Find someone who is clearly showing that's their life path. Your wife has chosen her. She wants to go to be in a pharmacy tech. Leave it be. You're trying to get her to shift gears. It's cool if you can talk to her about it at home. Turn these other aspects over to professionals. This woman is no longer in business administration. And to all the bastard baby makers and whacked out dumb broads with daddy issues, understand something. Here we get down to the bottom of things. I haven't heard anything here that indicates that she's a problem. You're trying to get her to specialize in things that she never agreed to. It'd be great if she could. Yeah, you're right. But she doesn't. Maturity is recognizing her limitations. Now, one last thing I want to ask you. You said the way things are going, looks like we could end up divorced. Question. Has she discussed that or you?
We both have, but she brought it up, because of the infidelity.
Right. And why was there infidelity?
Because I wasn't satisfied with this one, and I got bored.
Okay, now you're mumbling. Notice he wasn't doing it before. Now he's like a little child. He's mumbling now.
All right, let me step it up. So I became bored, and she wasn't doing it for me no more. And so I stepped out, found a younger chick.
Okay.
And,
Question. How much money did you spend on this other chick?
I keep her on a budget like you.
Yeah.
Like you always recommended. So I'll probably spend about maybe $15 a month.
Okay. Question. Because here's where you guys, with the amount of money you make, and especially living in Atlanta, this shouldn't even be an issue. So I know you're making dumb mistakes. Because women in Atlanta know the get down. You're doing dumb mistakes. Which means you've taken the side chick to places you take your wife. You bought the side chick something of equal or greater value than your wife. Or you have allowed other people that you and your wife know to get wind of what you're doing. It's one of those three things.
That's the one. The other two, no. That's the one.
So in other words, you didn't just get a side chick and leave it respectful. You got a side chick and then embarrassed your wife.
Yeah, got caught. Okay.
Now, when Jay-Z did that to Beyonce, she made an album, Lemonade. But why did she make Lemonade? And I taught you all about why Beyonce did that. Beyonce made Lemonade because she had to. Because she's got to go look other people in the eye. And she can't do that if other people are looking at her like a victim. Now, she didn't really want to do it. Not really. But Jay-Z forced her into a position. And she's like, I'm not really crushed that you slept with Blue Cantrell or whoever it was, but it's out there publicly. My image is at stake now. So if I don't do something to you in retaliation, people are going to think that what I think what you did is, that humiliating me is okay. The problem isn't that you slept with another female. Women submit to men's nature, especially when we're successful. The problem is you've publicly embarrassed her now. Now she's like, my problem isn't with you. My problem is with having you was supposed to be a status symbol. If they know for a fact that you're entertaining the company of other women, that dilutes the status of being with you. So even if I'm not enough for you, the rest of the world ain't supposed to know it. You're supposed to keep that on the low. And she would be okay. She's a single mom, dude. The problem is not that you slept with another female. She'd been run through before you ever came along. She's a single damn mom. The problem is you've humiliated her. So those 3 rules I gave you all, you can't violate the rules. And yes, I'm still working on that for the dark arts of game, the rules. Especially where this is concerned. But for you fellas who are high earners and whatnot, dude, the chicks are going to stay in line, but you can't violate those rules because you've destroyed the value of being with you. A woman remember, I said that men gather resources, women gather men. The status symbol is having a man who is a producer. So she gets status from having access to you. But her status comes from being able to show other females, y'all want him, I'm the one who could get him. But if you become public property and you're just available to be had, where's the status and prestige in being with you? If everybody can get you. That's why the public humiliation thing is a problem. So you've got to make sure about that because some dudes don't get it. Especially in that Atlanta area. I know y'all are used to the idea, well, most of these guys out here are bumming and not really overachieving and whatnot. And when one of you does, it's like, okay, y'all try to make up for all your lost years when you were a square and whatnot. But dude, y'all dudes got to understand this. You can't do that. You cannot do that. So her behavior towards you is going to turn decidedly sour. Now, let me ask you one more thing. How many side chicks we done had?
That are known, or
how many have you had total?
Oh shit, man! I can't even tell you.
More than 5?
I don't know. Yes.
More than 10?
10 is a good number.
Damn, nigga. Okay, you trying to give Derek Jackson a run for his money? It's Derek Jackson season out there. It's Derek Jackson season out there, y'all. Well, look, here's the issue. About 10 chicks, and how many of them has word gotten out about?
1.
Are you sure?
Positive. I knocked everything else off once that came up. So now it's just 1.
Are you sure she doesn't know about any others? Or suspect, not even know, that she doesn't suspect that there are more?
Okay. No, you're right.
Okay, about there 3. You go. Right. And does anybody else other than her have a concrete reason to suspect that there's been more than one?
No.
From the behavior that you're describing from her, that's not accurate.
Okay.
So, based on the behavior you're describing, that's not accurate. There's 1 for certain, but especially if she suspects this is part of a pattern, now that would be the real problem. So, yeah, of course, that would be an issue. Like I said, you messed up with that part of it, and try to take her to counseling if you can.
Tried that. That was a bust.
Because of her, because of you?
Because of me.
All right.
Because I wasn't in it with 2 feet.
Okay. Listen to me. It's cheaper to keep her. She's not trying to divorce you. If she went to counseling and she knew about the side chicks and didn't say nothing except about the one that you let get out the bag, and that was your damn mistake, dude, it's cheaper to keep her.
Okay.
It's cheaper to keep her. Leave it where it is.
And I appreciate the knowledge.
Get back to work on it.
And one thing I just want to say before you get off, if I had found out about you sooner, there's a lot of things I'd have did differently, man. And it's like getting put on to everything that you discuss after the fact. You know, it's like, all right, well, now here I am. But I appreciate everything you do, man. And thank you very much.
Thank you for giving us a call tonight. Like I say, man, trust me, you sit here and talk to me, I'll get down to the bottom of it for you. But yes, this isn't one of those channels where you tune in and we sit up here and the guys, it's the opposite of what the females are doing out there. This isn't the mirror opposite of that. We don't get here and just whatever the fellas say is right. And if the fellas say that she's a problem, we're just going to accept it. This is why the females don't get better. Because if this were a female-run program and that was a woman on the line, all the women would have just gathered around her. They wouldn't have asked any questions. They all would have just assumed, okay, he's a son of a gun, and that's it. So we go beyond that. Caller from area code 908. You're on live with The Business. It's time to get your weight up. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Name's Omar from Trenton.
Omar from Trenton, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I actually meant to bring this up in another business program, but not too long ago, I was in the laundromat, and I was washing clothes, and Tamron Hall was playing. And I wasn't paying any attention until I heard something that caught my ear, and they were talking about something called a platonic marriage. I was like, what? So I had to stop loading my clothes and listen to this. And
okay.
I'm like, what the hell is this?
We're not really doing general conversation tonight. So if it's something specific to what we're referring to tonight, we want to try to stay focused on that.
Well, I was just saying.
Okay. Thank you very much for giving us a call. Let me get caller area code 919. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Caller from 919, you're on live. Put the pipe down. Okay, he wants to get back to doing his mollies. Let me get caller from area code 617. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Joe, Boston, Massachusetts.
Joe from Boston, what's on your mind?
Thank you for everything you do. It's tried and true, brother. I wish I got this information before as well. I have a tough decision to make. Since I started listening to you, I was looking into the trucking and to the IT. I feel like I'm more cerebral. I can handle the IT. But all my life, I've been trying to get into the electrical union, and I finally got in. So now I have to choose whether I'm going to do Local 103 IBEW or I'm going to drop that, take a chance, and go after the IT.
Okay. How hard is it going to be for you to join the union?
I'm already in. My initiation is next week. I just went for my orientation today.
I mean, okay.
I've been trying ever since.
You're already in then, so that's kind of a moot point. What more are you looking for?
Right. I always wanted it, but I have family that was in it. They dealt with racism. They dealt with one of my cousins. Well, my cousin's baby's father. He's been doing it for like 15 years. He's just tired. He's like, it's not to him. You know, he made like 80,000. He could probably do more, but he's like, he's just tired. He's like early 50, late 40, early 50, and he's like, dude, it's to him, it's not worth it. But he hasn't trying to go out on his own or anything like you talk about. He just, he's a journeyman. He hasn't gone for his masters. But I just want to know what you think.
Look, here's the real issue. We have a bit of aimlessness going on here. What city do you live in?
Boston, Massachusetts.
Okay. That's already a racist city to begin with. But let me explain something to you. How old
Yeah.
are you?
I didn't hear you. Sorry.
How old are you?
I'm 38.
Okay, you're 38 years old. Brother, let me say something here. When you say, well, I'm in a racist city, they're all racist. Well, yeah, but the job I'm at is racist, but they're all racist. Well, yeah, but this union is racist. Please, the unions were started for racism. I mean, so that's not really an objection. That's just stating the obvious. If your objection is, I don't want to work in a quote racist environment, where you going? Neptune? Saturn?
No,
where are you going to go where you won't
sorry.
have to deal with those conditions? If that's the objection or if that's your concern, you tell me, where are you going to go? Because Elon Musk and friends are already heading to Mars, so you can't go there. We've lost Earth and Mars.
Right.
So we've lost Earth, the moon, and Mars. So where are you going? Jupiter? Pluto? Where are you going?
I heard that program too. No, it's not really about the racism. It's mainly doing less work and making more money. Like my potential with electrical, how far past 100 could I get?
Okay, here's the
And
thing.
how many hours of
Okay, here's the thing about your uncle. What company does your uncle work for?
I don't at the current moment. I know certain company he has worked for. I don't know who he's working for now, but it is in 103.
And there's the problem, because as an electrician, you can really only make about 150,000 working for somebody else. If you want more than that, you have to become a contractor. And that's the problem, is that most guys don't want to keep going and become a contractor because they get lazy. Their goal was to make more than minimum wage so that they're not financially struggling. Once they get over that particular hurdle, that's it. They're done. Niggas get soft. They sit down. They lay down. And they just want to get settled in their position. And that's what happens.
Okay, another example. Don't want to keep you. Another example. My blood uncle, because that was my cousin's baby's father. My blood uncle. He's a master. He's from Panama. He learned ever since a child. He's a master. He was here in Boston. He had his own company. You could check it online. He was the secretary of it. His brother, whatever. I'm not okay. He had his own business, but his complaint was black people don't have enough money. And then even rich white people, they would be canceling, like stopping checks, and he's not getting paid all his money. He'll take them to court, and he said he's wasting his money and his time in court.
That's every business.
He just got with the
That's every business.
Sorry?
That's every business. That's not new. That's not novel. That is not relegated to your uncle.
Okay.
This is not news. This is not a revelation. This is not some special instance or some unique circumstance.
Okay. So I'm more interested in IT now. I've been an electrical helper for a couple of years, and that's what like my uncle did. That's what my guys around me did. So I've been into it. I like it. But I think I prefer IT. Like what I was thinking is,
here's an issue that I have. I have an issue with fellas who jump from one thing to another, because you can never really excel at it until you grow roots. And it doesn't matter what you go into. If you never give it time to maximize its benefits, it's not going to give you anything anyway. Now, if you want to go into IT, you can. I did a couple of workshops on that, and it is one of those things where you can do that. Maybe about 5 or 6 years you'll have something to show for that there. So you can do that, but just understand that's not going to happen overnight anyway, and you're already almost 40 years old.
Right. The union is 5 years. It's an apprenticeship program. I've been an electrical helper for 2 years.
Okay.
So I had a late start. I've been messing around.
Sir, you're not listening.
Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
tonight's program is about potential versus performance. It doesn't matter where you stand on the rung of the ladder with the union. That doesn't matter. There's only one thing that matters: how good you are at what you do. And it sounds to me like you are already stating that you don't intend to dedicate yourself to becoming excellent at this. Because if you did, then your questions would have been about becoming a contractor. And I mentioned becoming a contractor, and you bypassed that and sidestepped that and immediately went off into something else. So clearly,
I understand.
Clearly, you are articulating that you don't intend or desire to dedicate yourself to this. So it wouldn't matter if the apprenticeship program was 2 months. If your goal is not to become the best electrician in Boston, it won't matter. And guess what? If you think IT is going to be easier, you are in for a huge wake-up call. If you think IT is if you think Silicon Valley is less racist than Boston, you have not been paying attention.
I have, Jason, and I listened to both IT programs. I heard what they said about the racism. I'm not afraid of racism. I can deal with that. The thing is, being all beaten up and battered when I'm older, if I can make more money, working my brain harder than my body, then that's what I'm considering. Because I've been working with electricians. I don't want to say that they're dumb. They're not dumb, but they're grunts, and they're, you know what I mean? They're different.
There's grunts in IT.
I am, like, a lot of times.
There are grunts. There are grunts in IT, man.
I know. What I'm saying is, I feel like I believe I'm way more cerebral. I've been into advanced classes my whole, like in my school tenure in school, and I just think that I can do that. Like, I'm really driven to do this. And now I'm caught up because it's like I've been trying to get into the union. This was my third time, and I blasted through the test, and I finally made it. Like, COVID put a
okay. Let me ask you a question. When you were in high school, what were the elective classes you took?
I didn't have any electives. It was just what the curriculum was. But I was put into advanced class in 6th grade.
Okay. I asked you what electives you took.
Oh, okay. So, well, in high school, I wasn't really into computers. I did do a business class. I forget what it's called. It was business, and it was like science mainly. But I didn't in high school. I dropped out of high school, honestly.
All right. So, first check-in that we're doing here is, well, when he was in school, did he show an inclination towards computers, computer science, and information technology then? Answer, no. Did you go?
No.
And as a matter of fact, he dropped out of school. All right. Now, what about college? What did you take in college?
I got into this NSTAR program, which is electrical. Like, you're like an understudy with the NSTAR
right.
over the summer.
So when he had a chance to go to college, did he pursue or express any interest in computer sciences or information technology then? Answer, no.
No, but I didn't have the money for that, Jason.
Sir,
this was like,
if you didn't have the money, then you could have qualified for financial aid, sir. Don't talk to somebody like they're stupid. That's the very definition of financial aid is I don't have the money.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't have that interest then, but I'm telling you, I do now.
Thank you. It is not that you didn't have the money. It wasn't that there wasn't a way you could have gone to school for this. If you were interested in this, it would have shown itself in grade school. It would have shown itself in college. It would have shown itself in the 20 years since you first took that first electrical program. You showed no inclination. Now you're saying at 40, I want to switch gears. My job is simply to provide illumination. I'm not here to rubber stamp people's ideas.
All right.
You're asking me what I objectively think. I'm an objective person. I'm looking at your life. I'm looking at your set of habits, which is what we were talking about in tonight's program. Wrong one there. Your set of habits.
Right.
And your set of habits has led you where you are. Now you're saying, well, you know what? I know I've spent my life, doing carpentry, but I would much rather, at heart, I really want to go into poetry. Now, I'm not telling you you can't do it. I'm telling you, listen to yourself.
Yeah, you're right, brother. I understand. It's resonated.
What you can do, if you want to, you can go ahead and check into it. I don't know how you're going to do both at the same time and be fully dedicated. Something's going to suffer. But my real thing is, that's something to think about. Do you have any children?
Yes.
How many?
6.
By how many women?
1.
You need to finish what you're doing. You don't need to be trying to shift any gears. You don't need to be trying to change any careers. You need to grow some roots. Because all these excuses, everything you're saying right now about wanting to switch to IT, you'll get into IT, and then when you realize, damn, it's going to be 5 or 6 years before I'm making any real money at this, then you'll be talking about switching something else again. You need to demonstrate some responsibility, some discipline, and some consistency. And right before he's getting ready to do it, he wants to start acting like a child again. No. You need to stay right where the hell you are. And you need to actually make it work.
All right.
Now, right now, what you need to be focused on is being the best, not good, the best electrician in Boston. When you focus on being excellent, people can't shut you out. It doesn't matter how much they want to. Then, once you become the best electrician in Boston, now listen to this part carefully. Are you listening?
Yes.
After you become the best electrician in Boston, you leave. Did you get that?
Yes.
You go where the damn money is. Boston is where you hone your skill set. Boston is where you prove yourself. After you've got all the skills you need, you do like all the smart people in America, all these immigrants from other places. You go where the damn money is. You're not married to Boston.
True.
But that would take a person who is focused and actually has a plan. And that's the part that's missing. We're not focused and we don't have a plan.
I did have a plan. I did come up with a plan. With which either one. I always wanted to do this, but now that once I did it for a couple of years, I said I thought I really wanted to do this, but I don't.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do that a lot. You thought you wanted to marry that girl, but you didn't.
We're married, and that's another issue. Are
you happily?
I'm not
are you happily married?
Sometimes, yeah. She's good. She's a good girl. She's a good woman.
I know she's with a screwball dude who has maturity issues, severe maturity issues, and her dumb ass wouldn't let you plug her with 6 kids. So now she's handcuffed to you, which is a hell of a position to be in.
No, she's actually not. I come through. I do what I'm supposed to do, and I I try to talk.
How much are you making a year? How much are you making a year right now?
Not enough.
That ain't a number.
The most I haven't. Go ahead.
That's not a number.
Say a number. I listen to you all the time. Say a number.
I'm not gonna play games with you, boy. Don't get on my phone playing games with me. If you're afraid to say how much you're making, it's because you make a pathetically small amount for a fella who has no problem whacking out kids like now and laters.
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true.
As I said, her dumbass let this screwball get her pregnant 6 times. Now she's handcuffed to him and his instability. Probably because she thought he was cute or had swag, or because she was a loser and this was the best she thought she could do. Now she's married to his instability. And he's 38.
It's a little of both.
He's 38, and at this late date, he's talking about changing careers, not because he needs to, but because that's what unstable little dudes do. They just jump from one thing to another, one chick to another, one female to another, one interest to another, one video game to another. They don't ever dedicate their lives to anything. And thus, nothing ever becomes prosperous because they don't have the ability to actually be consistent and actually dedicate themselves to something.
That's not entirely true. I was never really a video game.
If it's not entirely true, then it's not entirely false.
I got into the streets, man. I messed my life up, and I started cleaning it up, man. Like,
you are 38.
It's late, but
okay. If you are serious, then get your ass back in there, the union.
I got you. I got you, man.
Then I'm not going to sign off on you doing anything else except maximizing what you're doing now. I'm not signing off on it. This is something you've actually stuck with, and I have little confidence that if you try to change gears, that we won't be right back here again in 5 years. You're already married to her. You're married to the game. You already have something that can pay for you. Get to it.
All right.
Thank you for giving us a call. Let me get call of America code 919. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Jake from Charlotte.
Okay, Jake from Charlotte. Here's my thing. In the chat room, I had somebody who wanted to talk to me. Forgetting his name on here, but if that's not you, Sherry Gayak, whatever his name is. Let me just put you back on hold here for a moment. Sherry Gayak, Sherry Gage, whatever it is, Sherry Gage. If you're on the line, what's your area code? Because I don't see any number here. He's got some weird excuses also, so I got to ask him what that's about. I got to ask him what it's about, because I'm hearing some stuff here that seems a little weird, so. Caller from area code 561. Is this Sherigaic?
Yeah, my real name is Chance. Karagaic is just my internet name, all that.
Okay, Chance, and something about you're calling on your parents' phone?
No, I mean, I'm on my parents' plan, so I called before earlier, but like I didn't want to stay on too long because the phone told me when I called that it would be like charging me.
Where are you calling from?
All right, yeah, I'm calling from Lake City, Florida, but I live in Loxahatchee, Florida. So I'm calling by way of Lake City, Florida.
So what do your parents have? Your parents got a Go mobile phone or something? Just out of curiosity, was the AT&T Go phone? They got limited minutes in the 21st century. They still got limited minutes. What they calling a calling card?
Yeah, it warned me about, you're going to be charged because this is like in New York. So I didn't want to stay on too long, and I hung up before.
But it's a cell phone. How the hell can it be? How the hell can it be? How the hell can it be? long distance on a cell phone, man. How does that work? All right, dude, you got me, man. I don't understand it. All right, man. Well, brother, what was it you were trying to say?
All right, yeah. So I called before, and I asked you about the CDL thing, and you told me something about to call back when I passed school, and then you told me something about being the first to do something with a warehouse, like.
Well, oh yeah, about
I can't remember.
That comes later. Well, that comes later. Now that's diversification, and you have to learn a lot more before you can start talking like doing trucks and warehousing. Okay, so that's two separate things. But let's deal with the first thing. Okay, let's make you the best truck driver in America, and then we can get into real estate.
Yeah.
So you passed. You got in your CDL.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my trainer now.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna come on the 11th.
Oh, okay. Well, that moved quickly now, didn't it?
Yep.
How do you feel about it?
Awesome, man.
Well, that's good. Hopefully you can start making some money and get off your parents' cell phone plan and start talking to people for more than 5 minutes. So I'm rooting for you, man. I'm pulling for you here. I'm ready for you to get you a track phone. That would be an upgrade. So I'm rooting for you, brother. I'm rooting for you. If we can get you this if we can get you this iPhone 6. Well, I'm not even looking for an iPhone 11. Let's get you an iPhone.
I think I might go back to a flip phone. I don't trust these new smartphones.
I'm gonna see if we can get you in the truck, brother. We can get you an iPhone 6, and we can go ahead and get you. You'll be balling then. So that's what we're working on. Well, that's good. Now of course, here's the real thing about it. I mean, of course, you know what I always tell you all for your due diligence. If you have your CDL, of course, get your endorsements. You want to get your endorsements. So I highly recommend you get that.
All right, hold on. Let me go to my notes on my phone.
Oh, Lord, he needs notes.
I'm actually taking notes.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Well, these guys CDL, we're starting there. But definitely, like I say, for my truck drivers, they all know you definitely want to, experience is very, very important. But I'm a big believer in getting your endorsements. So, your hazmat, your doubles, your tanker, if you can get tanker. But definitely getting your endorsements is something I would also tell you to do as well. I know a lot of guys out there, they put that off or they delay it or whatever. And I'm not a big fan of that either because, they tell themselves they're going to come back and get it later and then they never do. So I'm a big believer that maximize your abilities from the beginning. You get everything, from the start, and that way you don't have to go back later. And you can just hit the ground running for whatever you want. Get all this stuff out of the way early while you're starting, and then, you don't have to look back and do it again.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear that's working out for you here. Definitely, by all means, give me a call back here in a few months. And like I say, let me know how it's going. I stand behind every
question.
I stand behind every, unlike some other folks out here, I don't just light incense and then send folk on their way. I stand behind everything I say. I am the only reliable and accountable source of empowerment that you all are going to find out here. So, and I will stand behind everything that I say. So this will work for you here. If you execute the plan the way I've given it to you, it will work.
Yeah. Hey, good night, guys. Question. Can you hear me?
Ask your question.
Oh, my bad. All right. Yeah, so right now I'm going to be driving for Warner. How long do you recommend I should drive for this company until I move on to another company? And what company should I move on after Warner?
Now that's all a relative thing. I don't really make recommendations in that regard, and I don't think any truck driver would tell you to. So because right now the most important thing for you to get is miles and experience. So if they're not giving you any runs and not giving you miles, then you want to switch that up. But right now, as long as they're giving you experience, that is the most important thing because that's the only thing you can take to another company. So if Warner's going to hire you, get your experience. Get as much as you can. That's the most important thing. Now,
Got it.
And like I say, if you haven't joined my Facebook group, the official Jason Black group, I have a post pinned to the top of it with a bunch of truck drivers there. In the chat room, the truck drivers are, like I say, most of them are saying a year to 1 to 2 years, which is what I mean by experience. You really want to get a good number of miles under you. That's going to be the most important thing. But 1 to 2 years is definitely going to be something there because you don't want to be there. This ain't like working at McDonald's or Walmart, dude. You don't just get your CDL, work for somebody for a couple of weeks, and then talk about switching companies. No, that's a bad sign. You don't want companies seeing that. You need to show them, because here's the thing. If you go, because they know that if Warner hired you fresh out of school, Warner took a chance on you. And if you show another company that you're not a good risk, why would they hire you? Why would they, if you only work for Warner for a month, why would somebody else hire you so you can go to work for them for a month? So you want to put in time, you want to put in miles, you want to put in your endorsements. And do you know that shows another company? If you do decide you want to leave, you're showing them that you're serious about the business.
Yeah.
In the chat room, Mike, the TWIC card, I mean, he can. That's up to him. I want to keep it simple, though. I know everybody, I don't want too many people shouting out too many suggestions and things because I know there's a lot to it. He's going to learn all this as he goes on. He's got his CDL. My thing is getting these guys in the door. If I can get them in the door, I can get everything else. If I can get him his CDL, I can get him his endorsements. If I can get him his CDL, I can get him his miles. If I can't get him to get his CDL, I can't get him to get anything. So, number one thing, brother, this is not Five Guys. This is not an entry-level job. Get that out of your head. This is a profession. This can work out real good for you. But you're going to have to show the industry that you're serious. And how do you show them you're serious? Endorsements and miles. Show them that you're still investing in yourself and your knowledge of it, and that you're not just stopping with, let me drive a truck. You really want to get involved, and then get out there and roll the miles. And then in 18, 24 months, then you have enough experience to talk about changing companies, because you ain't even done this long enough to be able to talk about changing companies yet. You're not even far enough along to be able to do that yet. So we're not there yet. Holla back at me when you got your endorsements, and then when you got a year and a half, 2 years experience under your belt, and then you will know enough about the business you won't even need to ask me. But right now, you got to pay your dues. You got to put in your time, man. Don't try to rush it. Take it slow. Take it easy. Well, don't take it slow, but take it easy, man. This ain't no race. Take it easy. You've already finished. The biggest part is getting started. Now show me you can get out there every day and keep those wheels earning and turning.
Yep.
It sounds simple.
Thank you, teacher.
It sounds simple. Then we get you out there and it's like, I'm bored. Okay, here we go. So show me you can do that. Now, what I want you to do, I want you to check back with me here in 6 months.
6 months?
Yes. Right. I told you I'd be here when you got your CDL. Here I am. All right, Jason, what's the next move? Great. You got your CDL. You need your endorsements. And then you need your miles. Now, you should be able to get your endorsements. So we're going to talk again in 6 months. You should at least be able to get, right. There's no reason you can't at least get doubles. There's no reason you can't at least get that. Now, I'm a big fan of getting all of them, but there's no reason you can't, if you ain't got at least one of your endorsements, then I'm like, okay, he's bull jiving.
Yeah, I'm aiming for doubles.
Well, you can at least get that. I'm taking it easy on you. Really need to be getting your doubles, your hazmat, your tanker. You know, you really need to get all of them, and I'm a big fan of hazmat because you get paid more. I know that here the truck driver is going to be going, no, Jason, it's tanker. Sit down. This is why I don't like bringing these up, because then the truck drivers start arguing with me. It's not hazmat, it's tankers. No, it's not tankers, Jason. It's hazmat pays more. Anyway, The real point is,
Sorry for turning into the trucker station.
yeah, it's cool, but like, get your endorsements. Like I say, the truckers, they'll argue all day about stuff, but get your endorsements, get your miles, give me something we can talk about now. You started the process, good. We ain't at the end of the road yet, so we ain't even thinking about changing companies. Only thing you think about changing is being from a driver with no miles to a driver with 500,000. That's the only thing we're gonna change you into. Yep. Once we got experience under your belt, then you got some weight to push around. Then we're going to discuss if you even want to, because Warner might treat you good and you might be like, hey, I got a good deal over here. Let me see, maximize my gains. So don't just assume it's not going to go well. Get some weight and experience under you, because right now you don't even have enough experience to decide whether they're a good company or not. You're too green. You're too new.
Yeah.
You don't even know if they're a good company. You don't know if they're a bad one. You're too new to be able to make that judgment call. Become a very good trucker, and then you'll be able to tell if they're a good company. I'm not talking about if your trainer's a jackass, but it's about if you're working for a good company. You're too new to even be able to make that decision. You don't know. In a year, you will. You'll have met a bunch of other people. You've had a bunch of experiences. You'll be able to tell in a year. But it's too soon for you to be thinking like this. Show me you can make them miles happen. So I want to hear back from you in 6 months.
Yep. Thank you, teacher.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. I stand on everything I say. I am the only person here. I created the Black channel and the business for the purposes of being able to personally instruct people on how to change what they're doing and get results, and to prove that I am legitimate and stand behind everything I say. I give them the ability to call me up. They do not get call screened. They do not get blocked. I have never, ever in over a decade of doing this ever had anyone who said that what I said was anything other than absolutely reliable and the truth, and that I am proud of that. Now you can puff some perfume to that. Caller from area code 919, you're on live with the business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
It's Jake from Charlotte.
Jake from Charlotte, what's on your mind?
It has been a year, Jason, and it's been a very interesting year. I learned a lot. I just still learning. One of the big things, learning this board you were talking about. My God, learning how to work this thing and
you're a trucker.
No, I'm a car driver, black car in Charlotte.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have I talked to you before?
Yes,
we talked a couple of times.
First time I talked
we talked a couple of times now.
Yeah, we have. Yes, sir, we have.
Okay, what's your issue now?
Say again?
And what's our issue now?
Well, I'm about to. Okay, I'm a few days from paying this vehicle off. Just a few days. I mean, I have a few issues, but I'm ironing them out. I'm going to get them ironed out. I still haven't, gotten my business certified yet. I'm purchasing my own vehicle. Still just driving people around the city. I got a few different contracts through the companies that I'm working, and just trying to get my name out there. Like I said, my phone is still buzzing off the hook. I mean, I can make basically as much as I want to. It's just some personal things that I have to deal with now. I'm very grateful, though, to be in a position. The other day, I got
okay, brother. Let me find out here. Did you have a question? Because we're really low on time right now, and I got a board full of calls. So on tonight's topic,
no. Did
you actually have a question?
No, I didn't. Thank you very much, Jason. I didn't have a question tonight.
Okay, well, thank you for giving us a call here tonight. Like I say, folks, I'm really, really limited on time. I'm going to try to get to as many people as I can here. Let me get caller from area code 419. You're on live with the business. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Damon, Jason. How you doing?
Okay, take your phone off the speaker. Whoever this is, I can't make out a word you're saying. Take your phone off the speaker. Can't hear what you're saying.
Okay. Hey, this is Damien from Toledo, Ohio.
Okay, Damien from Toledo. What's on your mind?
Yes, I was calling because I'm a 42-year-old guy, and I just started working probably like about 2 years ago. I was living the street life for a long time, but the 2 years I've been working, I bought 2 houses, and I bought a car and stuff. I've been, been getting it, but I want to take it to the next level. I want to understand, like, well, what should I do to get to the next level? Because I'm at a job, they don't pay that much, but I accomplished a lot more than I accomplished when I was on the street. I'm just trying to figure out how can I get to the next level.
Okay, it sounds like you're still on the street right now, running around. First and foremost,
no, I'm at work.
First and foremost, there are 3 things that you need. You need proper income, you need to have capital in the bank, and you need to have credit. How many of those do you have?
Well, I'm working on my credit right now.
All right, so you don't have it.
No.
All right.
No.
How many of those things do you actually have? Of the 3 things I just named, how many do you actually have?
None of them right now.
All right, well, that's what needs to change. Do you have a skill?
No.
All right, there you go. Okay, here you gotta make the transition, because understand this: the streets is dead. The streets is dead. Ain't no money out there. The dope game is dead. They locked up all the kingpins. They locked up all the real hustlers. They sent them away for 1,000 damn years. They broke up all the drug rings and the cartels. And then what they didn't break up, they legalized and then gave that over to white folk to sell it. So the weed game is dead. The cocaine game is going to be next. The opioids game, you can't get into that. So it's the streets is dead, man. That's it. That time is over. So everybody who's out here now, man, you got to have a skill. You can't be an entry-level employee talking about putting in an application. That's not going to work because there's no upward mobility. They can get illegals to replace you. So you're going to have to get a skill, man. I don't care what it is, but you have to get a skill. You can go to trade school. You can do truck driving. You can do IT. You can do medical professional, nursing, whatever. But, bro, you got to get a skill, man. You're too easily replaced, and you're only eligible for entry-level stuff. And that's going to be – there's already going to be a ceiling on that. They're only going to pay you like twice what minimum wage is. You can't do nothing with that. So you're going to have to get – you're going to have to actually get serious and get a skill.
Okay.
Now, where would you like to start?
All right. I want to start like plumbing or electricity or something like that.
Okay. I think plumbing is good. That's very, very good. And you're in a good place for that in Toledo. But if you don't like Toledo, I mean, there's Toledo, Cincinnati, Cleveland, whatever. But definitely that's not bad. Now, what you going to do about it?
Yeah, that's the thing. I gotta start doing. I've been listening to you for like 6 months. Like, so I was having like I was like dumbfounded like on like a lot of different stuff. Then I started listening to you and started listening to other people, and just now my mind opened up. Like I can't keep living off no $40,000 a year. I was able to buy a house and stuff. But that's about it. Like that wasn't even
just your basic needs. Like, that's not going.
I'm trying to furnish it.
Yeah, those are basic needs. That's not going to work. Now, the only thing about plumbing is in some places, like with unions and things like that, where pipe trades are concerned, the pipe trades tend to be problematic. That's the only thing about that. But that still shouldn't stop you. We got plenty of black plumbers out there. So if you are serious about getting into it and becoming a contractor, you can make it work. I mean, like, just take a look what just happened. What just happened last winter? I was in Louisiana. The worst snowstorm, worst cold storm we ever had happen. Hit Northwest Louisiana, knocked all the power out in Texas. Brother, there were plumbers coming literally from around the country. That was just what was happening. You never would have thought a snowstorm could do that. We didn't think so either. But it hit us so hard so quickly, it froze the pipes everywhere, and it burst water mains all over the city, all over the state. It knocked out power grids. So, I mean, there's a lot of work out there. And plumbers are already doing a lot of work to begin with. So there's work out there. But like I say, you can't get it if you ain't going to get it. So I think in your case, choose between one of those two. In my opinion, electrician has more mobility to it, but you do sound more like a plumber type of guy. You sound more like a type of fellow who would get involved in, taking care of pipe trades. You strike me as having that type of personality to it. And I think that would be good for you there too. But you gotta be serious about it.
Yeah. I ain't like the smartest kid on the block, so that's the only thing I was like hold myself back, like feeling like I was, like I ain't that book smart. So I was like, man,
Well, the
I gotta get off that mode and just go.
The Egyptians had pipes. The Egyptians had pipes. Now we've had electricity now for 140 years, but the Egyptians had pipes. So the Egyptians had plumbing, and then the Romans stole it from them. But like I say, I mean, that's something you can do. But here's the bottom line: regardless of any of that, I don't care if it's plumbing, I don't care if it's getting your CDL or whatever. You gotta get a trade, brother. This entry level stuff ain't gonna work. This ain't gonna cut it.
Yeah, I see that. See, I didn't, because when I was doing the street life, it was just coming in, so I didn't really value it. Now that I swear, I've been working on it literally for like 2 years. I bought a house, I bought a fixer-upper, and I bought 2 cars. I never did that when I was on the street, so I'm like that. But then when I really sit down and think about it, I'm like, this ain't enough. I want more. I want to be able to lead my kids something. I want to be able to, you know what I'm saying? I want to be able to lead them something where they don't got to start off like this.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got your mind in the right place, but brother, all the desire in the world, this talk ain't gonna make it happen. I'm gonna make a suggestion to you.
Exactly.
Have you heard Dr. Dre's song "Get It"? Have you heard that song?
Yes.
I recommend every black male in America needs to hear Dr. Dre's song "Get It." And what did Dre say? It'll probably happen if you work as hard as you talk. So right now, like I say, bro, you got to get out here and get it. You can't talk about it. Get up and go get it. So I don't care which one. You're in the right direction. All I'm saying is pick one. If you want my suggestion, plumbing, in your case, either plumbing or CDL. And I think either one of those would be good for you. I think either one of those will work out for you.
Yeah, I was going to do the CDL. But the place I was gonna sign up for, I had to move down there to Michigan for like a year, and they was and I got a few kids, so I'm like, I don't want to deal with my kids for a year. But then I had caught a DUI, and that kind of discouraged me, man. I'm like, man, I done messed up my little driving thing.
Well, you can always, I mean, like I say, getting your CDL is not that hard, man. You can go to truck driving school for that. And there's more than one. So I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear no excuses.
No, I wasn't making an excuse. They was going to do it for free. It was like a program that helped ex-felons out. And it was like, even if you ain't have no felon, they was doing it for free. It was like a free thing.
Well, here's my real thing. No matter which one it is, bruh, let's stop talking about it and be about it. Make it happen. Okay. Make it happen. Now, I want you to call me back in 6 months. That is plenty of time for you to either have your CDL or to be way deep off in plumbing class. You can go to any trade school and get that. That is way more than enough time to have either one of those. But the bottom line is, no matter which one you choose, bruh, choose one, but it's time to get it.
90 seconds.
Okay.
Thank you very much for giving us a call. Like I say, paralysis by analysis, you don't need all that. You don't need paralysis by analysis. Just get out here and get it. Just get out here and get it. Choose one. Because there's the real thing about it. People call me and they ask me about things and whatnot like that. And I give you a suggestion about what I think might work for you and everything. But it's just like dieting. What's the diet that will work best for you? The one you stick with. If you actually stick with it.
Seconds.
Okay, woman, back up. Caller from area code 919. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Reggie Hairston. I was calling from Atlanta.
Reggie Hairston from Atlanta. What's on your mind?
Oh, yeah, I called to tell you thank you. I just graduate. Well, I'm going to be graduating from my HVAC school from Fortis College the 23rd of June. I want to give a shout out to Andre C. Hatchett, too, because he helped me on my little transition, and you did, too.
Andre is a real solid dude. Like I say, a lot of y'all, you might have seen his name in the chat room or whatever. Andre is a real solid dude. You know, he's one of these cats who works behind the scenes.
10 seconds.
He's not like me. He's not abrasive. He's not one of these YouTube folk chasing fame and notoriety. Andre is one of these guys who really believes this stuff. He really works behind the scenes. He'll really give you the shirt off his back. You know, so I give a lot of props to Andre. He's a real dude. And like I say, the rest of y'all don't know. And I like unsung heroes. And you all know I've been doing this for over a decade. If I wanted to be famous and have notoriety and people be able to recognize me and the cult of personality and stuff, I could have done that years and years ago. I like people who just do the work. And I like people who are unsung heroes. Because I love sincerity. I like a person who's doing it because it's the right thing to do, not because they think they're going to get attention or accolades or special recognition. So just want to give a big shout out to my man Andre. Absolutely, Andre Hatchett. He's a real dude. He's been real for summers and winters. He's been real about this for a while. So definitely, I'm not surprised to hear that at all. I am not surprised to hear that at all. And that's another thing right there. Andre, when you live like Andre, and there's other people, Andre, Dr. Montgomery, my man Ryan, I'm not going to say everybody's names like that, but my man Ryan, my man David, my man Ronnie, you know, my man Eddie N, Christopher E, you know, actually, there's two cats named Ellis. You know, when you're real about it, you know, it's going to show itself, man. When you're real about it, people are going to recognize it. My man Keith, you know, these are people who y'all have never heard of, but I know who they are. I know who they are. And I know them because I've seen their work. My man Chadwick, you know, I can go down the list. Ogun Spirit, you know, Dark Black, Black Mama. There's a bunch of them. And I love all of them because they haven't done this for attention. They haven't done it for notoriety. They've done it because they believe in it. And I have so much respect for that. And they help people like you. And that's a great multiplier effect to have. So I'm glad to hear that.
Well, I'm glad that I got y'all to that I can draw wealth of knowledge from. It really helped me a lot.
Pay it forward.
And you know, I called a couple times. You know, I cut hair. I'm still gonna be doing that, but I got a job where I can do my HVAC in the mornings and I can cut hair at night. So I just wanted to call and share that.
Well, definitely keep at it. And like I say, I mean, because that pays a whole lot more than doing hair. And when you become good at these things, that's the thing I need to impress upon y'all. Step 1 is to get into the field. Step 2 is to be excellent at it. When you are excellent, when you are the best at what you do, that's how you make the best money. That's the way that works. So now that you started, focus on, just like with the hair thing, you can't make no money if you up here messing up folks' heads all the time. You ain't gonna make any money at it. The rule is the same everywhere. If you are good at what you do, people come back and they will pay higher prices to have the best. HVAC is no different. Electricity is no different. Plumbing is no different. When you are good at it, when you are excellent at it, you will make excellent money. So make that your next goal. Now that you're in it and you know it's going to be hot outside, it's going to be cold outside or whatever, your job is still to be excellent. When you're excellent at it, the money makes itself.
Okay.
I expect to hear back from you here in 6 months.
You will. You sure will.
I'll be glad to hear that. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. I remember him also. He was cutting hair and whatnot. And like I said, he didn't really want to hear about doing something different than cutting hair. But, you know, and that's another thing right now. The reason why these other folks are posers, and I don't have respect for that, and I don't have respect for those of you who get that mess a pass. We need folks who need real information that they can act on from reliable sources that they can come back to. We don't need any more people entertaining. We need people enlightening. All the spitball contests and complaining about women and this, that, and the other. Okay, when you get done with that, what are the men going to do to excel? And if you're a poser, you can't really tell folk how to excel at this. Those are the key pieces that are missing. So you create a situation where folk just sit around and pitch and moan for years and years. That ain't fixing the damn thing. What will fix it is what we do over here. This is where the actual work gets done. Not a bunch of dudes on the internet posing, pretending they got it together when in reality none of them do. Getting together in their little whiny groups in the whinosphere, and ain't nobody getting better. None of them dudes can tell you all how to turn $1 into $2. None of them can tell you how to double and triple your income. I do it publicly, live on air, and I invite everyone I talk to call me back and check me on the information I've given and the advice I've given, and tonight is a testament to that. Tonight is a testament to that. Now go shine your kitten heels on that one. Call from area code 708. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason. My name is D. I'm calling from Chicago. I was calling to kind of get your thoughts on kind of my professional trajectory.
Okay, we're short on time. Make it quick.
Yes, sir. So I recently graduated college. I'm just turned 25 years old. I'm set to be making $50,000 a year. I'm working for a major corporation, and so I think I'm in the right place.
Okay, you say you're making how much a year?
A year. About $50,000 a year.
Okay, so what's your question?
So I'm thinking about getting some type of trade, just to kind of increase my earning potential, but I just haven't really made up my mind on what to do. I've looked at getting some IT certifications. I know you advise a lot of other young men to get into the trucking industry, but I just haven't made up my decision. Do you think it's wise for me to...
Y'all waste time. You fellas waste a whole lot of time masticating these decisions and equivocating and juggling from one thing to another. Get started. The sooner you choose one and get started, the better you'll be. Well, I don't know which one it should be. That's the real problem. Because remember, if you make a decision too quickly, you're reckless. But if it takes you too long to make a decision, you're indecisive. And you don't want that to be a lifelong habit.
Yes, sir.
Now, have you been to college?
Yes, sir. I just attained my bachelor's degree in business administration and organizational management.
And totally useless and worthless.
Yeah.
And you're just now figuring it out now, so that's why he wants to know about IT or something, because now that he's got it, he realizes, oh hell, you can't actually do anything with this thing. So these colleges will sell you any course you want, but they know full well there's only really a handful of them that are actually in demand and actually make money. Everything else is really just an elective. So, in your case, I think IT would be a good fit for you. Are you a member of my Patreon?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'll be signing up today.
You want to sign up for that, and you need to go. I have one that I did on the Black channel, so you can go look that one up. I had an IT workshop, but I had, in my opinion, we had a more in-depth conversation with two individuals who answered three individuals, actually. My man Robert over there in the UK. That's that dude, by the way, my man Robert in the UK. I've actually got resources you all can call on. We're not entertainment, we're information here. So other folks entertain you. I empower you. So if somebody doesn't have respect or appreciation between folks who entertain them and those who empower them, it's probably because they're losers too. But you want to sign up for my Patreon? In my opinion, I've got nothing but rave reviews from people about that program there. They pretty much answer all the questions from start to finish. Nuts to bolts. So far, I haven't had anybody who has said anything other than it was a godsend. So if you're not a member of my Patreon, you definitely want to go ahead and sign up for that. You can go check out the IT workshop program on that one. is 4 hours long, but any question you have, I assure you will be covered there. When you get done listening to that,
thank you, sir.
If you got any questions, doubts, or whatever about what to expect or what you need to do, that program is going to cover it, because I told them we're approaching this from the level of somebody who doesn't know anything about IT. All they have is an interest in learning more about it. So this is a day one person. They don't know anything about it. How do you begin? And my man Wesley and my dude Charles, I think it was, that's what we got to working on it. So definitely check that out.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. I created these forums because I wanted to make the kind of thing that I wish had been available when I was a young man, from a source who was actually reliable and accountable. That was what I wanted. And I'm proud to say that we've created that. And it is the only one. Caller from area code 919. You're on live with The Business. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jake from Charlotte.
Jake from Charlotte. You're going to need to call us back on a different night, brother. I'm going to have to make him sign up for the patron. Got to call back on a different night. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here now. We've been going over 3 hours. This is what we do here. I'm glad to have this. To the ladies who are listening here tonight, if you want to understand, to everybody who's listening here, what folk are doing wrong, now you've heard it. If you want to know how to recognize the difference between potential and performance, with the callers who called in tonight, I want you all to do an experiment. With the callers who called in tonight, you determine for yourselves when it comes to making $1 million, because there were a few of them on this phone tonight who are going to make $1 million. Who has potential and who has performance? Review. That's the homework for everybody listening tonight. Everybody who you heard call in tonight, you judge which ones have potential and which ones actually are going to have performance. If you are new here to the business, I'd like to welcome you to the program that laid the foundation upon which all of these red pill, MGTOW, high value posers, alpha male idiots, red pill racists, and all these other clowns have stolen and ripped off everything that they're repackaging to people. You'll be hearing it from them screwing it up next week, but you actually heard it accurately given here tonight. So if you want to be way ahead of the curve, this is the place to be. If you aren't a member of our patron, as I mentioned here tonight, we take it to a whole new level over there. This is an edition really of Get Your Weight Up Wednesday, but I'm doing it here on YouTube, so you've gotten the taste of what we do over there on Patreon. I get to go really more in depth over there because we have a smaller group of people, so I get to deal with people more in depth over there. But if you haven't joined up for that, you definitely want to. A lot of good programs over there. My Trip to Miami program is over there as well. Wait till you see what I done seen. And a lot more. A lot of content over there. A lot of it available. So, hey, dozens and dozens of programs. So you want to get involved. If you haven't subscribed, click that red subscribe button and click that yellow notification bell. And definitely, if you enjoyed tonight's program, share it. YouTube has us under a shadow ban. They do not recommend us and they do not suggest us to people. They're trying to hide our channel from people. So really the only way they find out about us is if people tell them directly. So hey, tell them directly. To everyone who contributed to tonight's program, I want to thank you all. Thank you very much to everyone who contributed to tonight's program, either on CashApp, PayPal, or Super Chat. Thank you very much for your support. I appreciate it, as always. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of The Business. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, Mr. Jason Black. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, handle your business or your business will handle you.